do this. Let's do this.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Come on. Throw us in it.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Matt Ryan's ready. Tannehill's ready. Everybody in the AFC West is up and ready. Dak's ready. Jalen Hurts is ready. Carson Wentz, even he's ready. Matthew Stafford. Ooh, my arm.
The Rich Eisen Show. Today's guests: Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney, former NFL general manager Thomas Dimitroff, former Pro Bowl center Eric Wood, plus your phone calls, latest news, and more. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes. Woo! It is. Woo! We mean business, is all I'm saying right here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're coming straight out of the cannon here in Los Angeles, California, home of the defending Super Bowl champs and home of tonight's National Football League kickoff game. And we kick off this show with some show news as well. We now have a date next Monday. This show debuts on the Roku channel. We are planting a sports and sports talk flag on one of the best platforms ever created for content to be delivered to you. Thanks to our friends at Roku. Roku players and TVs will get us for free. And that's because that's where the Roku channel lives. Same on Samsung Smart TVs, Amazon Fire TVs, the Roku mobile app. It exists, and you get it on your phone, and the Roku channel can be streamed for free on your mobile devices, and then the RokuChannel.com desktops starting on Monday. We will be there on the Roku channel for your viewing and entertainment and sports information pleasure, 12 to 3 Eastern every day. It's the same show, same studio, same everything, just a different channel, the Roku channel. We're so thrilled about it. So we will be coming out of the box talking about a full week one slate of games on this weekend and getting you ready for the big Let's Ride. Russell Wilson returned to Seattle, the Monday night week one finale. We're so excited about all of that. The Rich Eisen Show coming to the Roku channel. So to everybody out there watching us on YouTube, and you've been watching us since we departed the airwaves of Peacock, we appreciate you streaming us on our YouTube page. We'll be doing it all day today. We'll be doing it for tomorrow's show as well. But our YouTube clips will be the way that you can follow us on YouTube moving forward. But the live show and the repeats and clips will also live on the Roku channel. That's the show business and the business of our show. Good to see you, Chris Brockman. What's going on over there?
Rich, let's ride.
DJ Mikey D, are you going to the game tonight?
Yes, I am.
You are?
100%.
Very good.
With someone else that works with us.
Okay, very good.
Bringing a guest.
Oh, you're bringing Hoskins?
Whoa.
No, I was going to bring Hoskins.
He's making Hoskins sit in the nosebleeds.
No, another
Who are you
Bills
bringing to the
fan.
game tonight?
Another Liz.
Oh, you are? Fantastic.
I take
That's why she's wearing a
fans
Bills
of the
shirt.
team that's
Okay.
playing, yeah.
Okay,
I
very
bring
good.
them.
You should just give your tickets to Hoskins and Liz so they can sit together.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all
one.
good. It's all good. Do what you want to do. Very good. It's very nice of you to do that. Very
Yes,
good.
see?
TJ Jefferson, light the candle. The NFL season is here. Did you light the candle already?
I mean, it is late. We're ready to go.
So, if you're new to these parts, where have you been? We've been on the air. This is our 8th NFL season we're covering. And every single time that we've been on the air at the beginning of an NFL season, I started off by asking Mike Del Tufo for NFL Films music. And I run through all 32 teams and their hopes and their chances and their storylines and their backgrounds for this season. Let's hit it. Starting right here in Los Angeles, California. Your defending champion, Los Angeles Rams. They are the ones that can end the longest drought in the history of NFL football, not seeing back-to-back Super Bowl winners. Last time it happened, NFL Network was age 2. The first 2 seasons we covered the NFL at NFL Network, the Patriots went back-to-back. This is our 20th season of covering football. We're 19 years old. It's been that long. Allen Robinson is the new wide receiver there. Bobby Wagner, future Hall of Famer, right behind Aaron Donald and right in front of Jalen Ramsey. Matthew Stafford apparently got a procedure on his elbow. He's feeling all fine and dandy for Cooper Kupp and everybody to get out there tonight against the Bills. The Los Angeles Rams are that one of the 32 teams that has a chance to repeat and end the longest such drought without seeing it in the history of the NFL. But the 49ers might be the team standing in their way, the team that almost won the NFC Championship game in that building up the road. We might have been maybe tonight looking at Santa Clara, California for the banner raise, but instead they lost that game. It's now Trey Lance's team, and Jimmy Garoppolo is still in the quarterback room. Who'd have thought that? Dabo Samuel spent parts of this offseason saying, I'm never going back there, and guess what? He's back there with a new contract. The offense is all intact. It's all on Lance's shoulders. The defense is intact. It's all on Trey Lance's shoulders, unless it could be on Jimmy Garoppolo's shoulders. How will Kyle Shanahan navigate that in his 6th year coaching in San Francisco? The Arizona Cardinals, it's year 4 for the Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury combination. They have only one playoff season to show for it and no playoff wins. The Rams started their playoff rampage to the championship last year by boat racing Kyler Murray out of that building. He has a new contract. There was a couple of weeks during this offseason, couple of months, during this offseason, we thought he wouldn't be back. And then there was 1 week when we thought he just doesn't study very hard, and he needed his iPad time in order to make sure that he studied well enough for a game. How will he handle not having DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games of this season? J.J. Watt, could this be his final ride? Who knows what's going on in Arizona, except that they have an opportunity to shock some people. And then there's the Seattle Seahawks. Year 13 for Pete Carroll, who turned 71 in September. He is the most tenured coach in the NFC, coming off of his first losing season in Seattle since the year before Russell Wilson got drafted, and we all know Russell Wilson is no longer there. What will this team look like in the post-Russ era? Geno Smith, one of our guests on Wednesday's show, says it's just another game for him. It's just another start for him. It's just not, as he said, a redemption story for him, but he's got a major opportunity to shock some people on a roster that's young and fast. They've got a fast team. How will they fare with those circumstances? And then we move to the NFC South. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady entering, wait for it, year 23 in the National Football League. Retired, unretired, he's back. Bruce Arians was active, then he retired. It's now Todd Bowles' team. It's his second shot at being a head coach in this league. He was a head coach in New York. There's an up-front problem right in front of Tom Brady on that offensive line, the interior offensive line. Other than that, there's not many question marks on this team, except, is this Brady's last ride? Can he ride off into the sunset as a champion? Can he make his, wait for it, 11th Super Bowl of his GOAT career? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the clear favorites in this division. Then there's the New Orleans Saints with their new head coach in Dennis Allen. Yeah, Sean Payton not there for the first time since 2005. And how will this team look with a defensive-minded coach, quarterbacked by a guy who went through every single joint in his body in this most bizarre press conference for Jameis Winston before the opener against the Atlanta Falcons? Michael Thomas is back. How will he look? How will this offense look under Dennis Allen in year 1 of his regime in New Orleans? In Atlanta, Arthur Smith, year 2 for him, and it's second chance time as a starting quarterback now for Marcus Mariota. Drake London, one of the most talented young receivers, the first young receiver taken off the board in the draft. He's banged up going into week 1. We'll see how he fares. How will year 2 of Kyle Pitts look? What will Atlanta look offensively and at all, top to bottom, with Desmond Ridder, the Cincinnati quarterback from college last year, waiting in the wings? An interesting year, crossroad year for Atlanta, their first year without Matt Ryan at the controls since Matt Ryan was in college. And then there's Carolina. Matt Rule, the dean of NFC South coaches. He's the most tenured coach in the division with his team. It's year 3 for him. Can Christian McCaffrey stay healthy? And what will Baker Mayfield do with his remarkable opportunity? All of a sudden, he's in a better spot than if he stayed in Cleveland, I think. He has a long-term future in Carolina if he can take them to the playoffs for the first time since 2017. Their last playoff win was the NFC Championship game en route to Super Bowl 50. The NFC North, the Detroit Lions, your Hard Knocks favorites. Is this Jared Goff's final ride in Detroit or as a starting quarterback in this league? We all know that this Roar restoration project has been going on for quite some time. Their last playoff appearance was 2016. Their last playoff win was 1991. What will the Lions do in year 2 of the Dan Campbell administration? How will Aiden Hutchinson look, the number 2 overall pick right there? The Chicago Bears, one word, eat Eberflus! Eberflus! I think I need to take a Ricola after saying that word. Eberflus! Justin Fields, his first full season as starting quarterback there. The bar is set very low in Chicago. Their last playoff win, the 2010 divisional game when Cutler beat Russell Wilson on way to the NFC Championship game. They lost to the Packers, and Cutler wound up on a stationary bike on the sideline prior to taking a walk through Rodeo Drive the next week. Men, you've got the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people hopping on the Vikings bandwagon with Kevin O'Connell coming from the Rams staff. Can he unlock Kirk Cousins? Justin Jefferson, can he be the top wide receiver in the league? What about Dalvin Cook? All behind a new head coach who is their first offensive-minded head coach since Brad Childress in 2010. Don't forget, he handed things off to Leslie Frazier, who handed things off to Mike Zimmer. What will the Vikings look like with an offensive mindset under the head coaching headset? And then, of course, you've got the Green Bay Packers trying to finish first in their division for the fourth straight year. It's only happened once, folks, when Mike McCarthy ripped off 4 straight divisional titles after winning the Super Bowl. That's it in the history of the Green Bay Packers. Can Aaron Rodgers win a third straight MVP? One would think if he comes up with 13 wins and another division title to become only the first quarterback in the history of the Green Bay Packers to win 4 straight division titles twice without Devontae Adams, one would think that would put him in line for the most valuable player in the league. What will the Packers season look like right there with Aaron Rodgers back again now for, one would believe, the rest of his career? And then there's the NFC East, the New York Giants, a new head coach in Brian Daboll. What will this offense look like, man? Can Saquon stay healthy? Does Daniel Jones finally have the weapons and the coach around him to evaluate him as a long-term possibility for the New York Giants, who have won more than 6 games only once in the last 8 years? And that was the 11-win season of Ben McAdoo that wound up in a one-and-done appearance in Green Bay with Odell Beckham punching a Lambeau wall. The Washington Commanders. We've got a new team name, folks. It's the Washington Commanders, or the Commodores, as Stephen A. Smith referred to them the other day. There's only one quarterback, not named Carson Wentz, who has started a season opener for 2 different NFC East teams, and his name is Donovan McNabb, who did it, yes, for Washington and Philadelphia. Carson Wentz is adding his name to that mix. Question is what's he going to do with that opportunity? He's got a lot of speed burners on offense. Will Chase Young come back soon enough to help that defense? Your Washington Commanders right there. The Dallas Cowboys, year 3 of the aforementioned Mike McCarthy. Can Dak, Zeke, and CeeDee Lamb become the new triplets right there? The defense is spectacular. That's not the question. How will the offensive line without Tyron Smith hold up to protect Dak and make some room for Zeke? And what is Tony Pollard's role going to be, and who else other than CeeDee Lamb and an injured Michael Gallup can help that offense for Dallas? And then you've got the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts, it's all on his shoulders, man. That's it. Only one playoff win since that Super Bowl, and that was when the Bears double-doinked themselves out of the playoffs in the wild card round against Philadelphia. It's Jalen Hurts' world. He can be a long-term future quarterback in Philadelphia, or this could be his final ride right there. Big, huge opportunity for him. And that's my breakdown of the NFC East teams and the West teams and the Central and the South. That's the National Football Conference going into the 2022 season. Here's the AFC right now. Starting in the West, the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh McDaniels 2.0. How will it be different than when he was with the Denver Broncos? Belichick had a very successful run and still is on one after he crapped out in his first time as a head coach in the NFL, even though, he actually did make the playoffs as a Cleveland Browns head coach, and what ended his tenure there was the whole moving of the team. But you get what I'm saying. McDaniels, Derek Carr has got his BFF from college back, the best receiver in the NFL, Devontae Adams. What will he look like? We didn't see him in the preseason at all. Add Chandler Jones to Max Crosby on that defensive line. I've been saying the Raiders win the division. It would be their first division title since their 2002 Super Bowl season. That's the last time the Raiders won their division. And the Broncos, Their last playoff win was Super Bowl 50. But let's ride with Russell Wilson. The prize of the offseason quarterback world is now wearing the Denver Broncos orange for a new head coach in Nathaniel Hackett. Is that all you need to add to a team with a young defense and some young receivers and some young offensive linemen and some young running backs? The veteran presence of Russ. What will he look like in his first new home in his professional playing career? So much riding on that in Denver. The Kansas City Chiefs have won the division 6 straight times. The Los Angeles Rams of the 70s won their division 7 straight times. The Patriots won 11 straight in the Tom Brady administration. The Chiefs are on a remarkable run as Andy Reid is in his 10th year now in Kansas City. So much shade thrown at Patrick Mahomes this offseason just because Tyreek Hill is gone. So many people think the Chiefs will not win and maybe even make the playoffs. What a fascinating season for Kansas City that has Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling and so much more. And then you've got the Los Angeles Chargers, their last division win, 2009. Can this be the year with Khalil Mack being added and J.C. Jackson when he's back healthy for year 2 of Brandon Staley? Justin Herbert has so much MVP talk around him. Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and the rest of that offense and defense. The Chargers look loaded in the most loaded division in football. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson is their new head coach. Or 3 words, not Urban Meyer. The worst head coaching performance in the history of head coaching performances in the National Football League is now in the books. It's in the rearview mirror unless I keep bringing it up, which I plan to do. But Doug Peterson, man, a Super Bowl winning head coach who knows quarterbacks, former quarterback, was a guy who's right near Brett Favre for all those years, an offensive-minded assistant, and then Super Bowl winning head coach. Add him to the mix. What will Trevor Lawrence look like? That's about it. That's about it for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And how much can they surprise people and win football games? You could say same thing about the Houston Texans because Lovey is back. Egad, Lovey Smith is the head coach in Houston, and Davis Mills, year 2, everybody thinks that he was just kind of, a throw-in in the draft from a couple of years ago because they knew they were going to lose Deshaun Watson. You might as well take a quarterback, but he's got some ability, and if he came out this year, he might have been the first quarterback off the board. I don't think he's a placeholder. I think he's their future, and I think they're going to play like that with Dameon Pierce, this running back from Florida. Let's see what the Texans can do and how much they can surprise some people. The Tennessee Titans, is this Ryan Tannehill's last ride? Certainly with Malik Willis drafted in the middle of this last year's draft. Derrick Henry's MVP campaign begins against the Giants this very weekend because how much is this guy going to shoulder of this offense? A.J. Brown is gone. They've got a receiver who looks just like him in height, weight, and speed, but can Treylon Burks be the A.J. Brown of this offense as the Titans go for their 3rd straight divisional title? Only other time that's happened, the first 3 years of their existence when the Houston Oilers were born from 1960 to 62. The Titans have that on their radar screen to try and repeat. Unless the Colts go ahead with Matt Ryan, the natural in his new digs, in his new spot, with that defense and that offensive line and an MVP candidate running back of his own in Jonathan Taylor. Can the Colts win this division? By the way, only 1 playoff win for this very successful franchise since 2014. That's it. Can the Colts match that by making the playoffs and winning a game and getting ahead for Frank Reich? Let's move to the AFC North. This is a loaded division too. Year 4 for Lamar, year 15 for John Harbaugh, for a team that was so banged up last year, almost 30 players on injured reserve last year. So how do you evaluate the running game now that people are back healthy? How do you evaluate the defense now that people are back healthy? How do you evaluate Lamar Jackson when he says, I want a new contract, and he sets a deadline for Friday? How will that affect things for this team? What is their big-time passing game? Could it be 2 tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely? Is that it? Let's see. The Steelers, it's year 16 for Mike Tomlin, who, by the way, in those 16 years has never finished last, Never had a losing record. Only finished third place once when they were 8-8 in 2006. It's Mitchell Trubisky's second shot at being a starter in this league. And then there's Kenny Pickett right behind him. Najee Harris, one of the great young talents at running back. How much is he going to shoulder of this offense as they put it together under maybe a rookie quarterback? We shall see. Cleveland Browns, we all know what a total disaster it has been on the Deshaun Watson front, but it is now potentially behind them. They know it's an 11-game suspension. The question is how many games can Jacoby Brissett quarterback this team to in the winner's circle before Deshaun Watson comes back? Can they stay in the division race, let alone the playoff race, without Deshaun Watson in a terrific run game? Amari Cooper's now there on offense. Myles Garrett is a defensive player of the year on defense. Let's see what they can do while they wait for Deshaun Watson to come back. Jacoby Brissett has made only one career start in week one, a season opener, and that was for the 2019 Colts when Andrew Luck surprised them by retiring on the team. Brissett will be under center for the Browns against Baker Mayfield in a huge week one game. The Cincinnati Bengals, they are American Football Conference champions, and they're got even better. And they may have the best quarterback, and I'm saying it, they may wind up having the best quarterback in the conference, and it's loaded. Joe Burrow, can he just say, okay, I hear all the Mahomes talk. I hear all the Josh Allen talk. Guess what? I'm Tom Brady 2.0, and I'm going to lead the Cincinnati Bengals back to the Super Bowl right now because they improved the offensive line in front of me, and I've got weapons galore, and everybody's overlooking us because we're the Cincinnati Bengals who have not won back-to-back division titles since Forrest Gregg's first 2 years there when he followed up a Super Bowl loss with, wait for it, winning the title in their division again, although it was a strike-shortened year, but we'll just throw that out. The AFC East, we all know about my Jets. They got loaded up on offense and loaded up on defense with all of these young guys. Can Zach Wilson come back healthy and actually win some games and even shock them to get to the playoffs for the first time since their ground and pound days, back-to-back AFC championship losses that ended in 2010. That's your Jets update right there. And then you've got the Miami Dolphins, their last playoff win. You know when the last time they had a playoff win? I'll tell you. When Jay Fiedler beat Peyton Manning in the 2000 wildcard game. That's the last playoff win for the Miami Dolphins. They have made the playoffs a handful of times since then, but they were one and done. And now here comes Mike McDaniel, who's never done this before. And they add Tyreek Hill with Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki, and they've got running backs for days, and they've got a hard-hitting defense, and everybody overlooking them because their quarterback is Tua. What's Tua going to do with this opportunity? Can Tyreek Hill bring his game and be electric for the Dolphins in the same way he was for Kansas City? What will Tua do with his opportunity? Year 23 for Bill Belichick, and everybody's wondering if he's lost it. Even with taking a rookie quarterback to the playoffs last season. But they have looked so horrible in preseason with new play callers who've never done that before, despite their experience in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge being in New England. Who the hell knows about what the Patriots can do this year? No earthly idea. But the only thing we definitely know is it's the Buffalo Bills division to lose. It's their division to win. It's their conference to win. It's their league to win. Because top to bottom, from MVP quarterback to stable locker room to stable coaching staff, even though they lost Brian Daboll, they've got an offense that appears to be on cruise control. And they added James Cook, and they've added players in the draft, and they've got Josh friggin' Allen. It's this the time for the Buffalo Bills. Has the moment finally arrived where they get to the mountaintop and bring the Lombardi Trophy to Western New York? Can their dreams come true? That's my opener for the NFL season here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Let's ride.
Let's take a break because Dabo Swinney talks a lot too. And we get to the Clemson head coach, and then we'll get to you. And then we'll also get to Eric Wood in studio. And we'll get to Chris Brockman's final burning questions and his top 5 teams in the NFL and my 5 brass ring opportunities. I've got a top 5 list of my own. And you at 844-204-RICH. Dabo Swinney when we come back. Back here on the Rich Eisen Show. I know I go on and on and on and on and on, but I just kind of like getting it all out there. I'm all fired up for the beginning of this season, man.
It's a great start to every year.
We do it every year.
It's great.
Oh, man, I'm so fired up.
It's 7 months. Think about it. It's 7 months from the end of the Super Bowl until now.
And by the way, greatest offseason we've ever seen.
Yeah, we say it every year. Like, you come into this season, you're like, wow, this season's going to be the greatest ever. This season will literally be the greatest NFL season ever.
Well, I mean, because, I don't think you're wrong. Because there's so many ways to watch and cover it, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, the conversation is just nonstop.
Nonstop.
I mean, there's shows all over the place now. Right? It's really great. And I know I glossed over some stuff, too. But,
we can hit it tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I also just like screaming the word Eberflus into a microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to.
Do you guys want to try it? It's good. You want to try it?
Eberflus?
No.
Not Ron Burgundy.
No.
It's Eberflus.
How did that feel?
Feel pretty good, actually. Yeah.
TJ, you want to try it?
Feels pretty good.
Try it. I'm serious. You should.
You have a deep voice. It's therapeutic.
I know you don't normally. I know you're not nearly so.
I really emote off other teams.
You don't exactly. You don't emote off other teams' people, and you also You're not usually very demonstrative when it comes to that.
No. But
try it.
I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm like,
try it.
Eberflus.
That was nice.
Very good.
That was nice.
Mike, you want to try it?
I'm not doing it.
Come on.
Mike, You have no idea.
Shake your fist.
Maybe
it feels good.
Maybe your chi is blocked in some way.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah.
do it.
You got blocked chi.
Do it.
You got blocked.
And
I feel pretty good.
Okay.
Eberflus!
Everybody, wherever you are, go to the window, open it up.
Oh.
I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to Eberflus anymore.
If you want to call us and just
Back here on our show.
say Eberflus,
just hang up.
Yeah,
People just going to scream.
Feel free. Just scream Eberflus.
Because Adam, our call screener, is a Chicago Bears fan. Come on a minute. Can we hear him from the back? Adam, you want to scream? He's not listening to us now anyway.
Adam, call in and yell Eberflus and then hang up.
When you open up a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, you're opening up more than just doors, folks. You're unlocking potential. The potential to do your own thing, be your own boss, do your own success, blaze your own trail. Each and every Sprinter van is built, designed, and equipped to let you hit the open road and take on any goal you set to help you follow your passions, reawaken that spirit of adventure, and check out all those big, bold, fun, and exciting experiences off your bucket list. Owning a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van lets you live, work, play out your dreams, no matter how far off the beaten path they'll take you. And with 16 body types, your choice of a gas or diesel engine, and thousands of ways to customize, a Sprinter van is capable and versatile enough to help you drive your ambitions wherever you want to take them. So now's the time to discover what it is that moves you most. Don't wait. Unlock your potential inside a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter and take it on the road and roll down your window and scream out, Eberflus!
Eberflus! Eberflus!
But be careful, because you might want to just keep your hands on 10 and 2. All right?
This is L.A., baby. We drive at midnight.
Good thing Dabo Swinney's still in a meeting, and he's going to be calling in the top of the hour. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone on some sort of an Eberflus rant. But just think about it. I kind of gave everybody a quick breakdown, not so quick, but quick for each team, but altogether about 20-minute, soliloquy about the possibilities and the backstories of all these teams going into the season. And that's what the NFL is. I get asked all the time, why is the NFL so successful? I really do get asked that. And it's a simple answer, okay? It's multiple parts, but it is simple. One, it's the greatest narrative-generating machine ever. Two, the offseason is long enough to keep your juices flowing. The season is just long enough to make you want more, okay? And each game is spaced out by a week. So there are such few games, they all matter so much, and there's so much for you to talk about in between games. How many times do you talk about, well, man, what happened with Durant and Kyrie and this, that, the other thing, and the Nets, man, they just blew that last night. That was a game they should have won. And then, boom, they play one the next night and they win. Baseball, same way. Hockey, same way. Football, spaced out. And then you've got the casual fan locked in because of your fantasy team. Everybody who normally wouldn't follow a league gets their fantasy teams all built, and they feel like they're the new general managers of the year, and they walk around offices and boast and send texts, and they're locked in on their team. So the casual fans are there, and then, of course, there's gamblers who can't get enough.
Can't get enough.
But
man.
Please bet responsibly.
Of course.
So I'm serious. Like, you put it all together, and plus, you know what? The stars of the game do interviews. Rodgers, you've seen him all different places. We have stars of the NFL call in here, and I don't take it for granted. Try getting Bryce Harper to call into a show. Trout. I'm serious. Try and get, Aaron Judge, who I would take on this show 15 days to Sunday. How many times you see him do a thing nationally? A thing.
Never.
That's a good point.
These
guys got a lot of time on their hands, these baseball players, right?
I'm just saying, hoops. Like, what top star athlete in the NBA makes himself available talking to fans on shows like this one? And I understand that this is very egocentric of us to say our show is important and you should call in, but we have a platform, and there are many others like this. But NFL players, they call. Even Brady does his own podcast once a week. I mean, like, you hear from them. The accessibility is there. So, I put it all together. And so that's why the NFL is so successful. And then you talk about narrative-generating machines. There's week-to-week storylines. There's in-game storylines that lead to week-to-week storylines. There's season-long storylines. And then the season-long storylines that I just laid out for you are set up. The month of March this year, insane. Brady unretires, and then Russell Wilson leaves the Seahawks, gets traded to Denver, and then on the same day, Bobby Wagner gets cut loose. And then Tyreek Hill wakes up one day and says, I want to be traded, and then winds up on the Dolphins that day. I'm sure there was lots going on behind the scenes before all of that. Name any of the free agent transactions off the top of your head. And you can top it. Devontae Adams leaves the Packers after Rodgers says he's signed and coming back.
Right.
To go to the Vegas Raiders to make the AFC West the deepest division in football, along with the number of players. Randy Gregory of the Cowboys says, I'm coming back, and no, I'm going to Denver. He's on the Broncos. We're going to see him chasing down Geno Smith Monday night. Matt Ryan changes addresses. Then you throw the draft onto the mix. And I'm not even naming half of the transactions that happened. A.J. Brown, a draft day trade to Philadelphia. He gets paid. Debo says, I'm out. Then he's back. The Jimmy G saga. I mean, every team seems to have something like that. That's why, this could be the greatest NFL season ever, because of all those storylines leading into the highly anticipated kickoff tonight and the fan bases around the NFL. I know there's so many arguments about who's got the most passionate fan base. Buffalo Bills are up there, and everybody's talking about this team. I'm one of them as Super Bowl winners, and they're the ones trying to spoil a banner-raising party tonight in Los Angeles, where there used to be no football.
No, now there's two teams.
Now there's two teams, and everybody thinks both teams can win the Super Bowl. Kyler Murray. I knew I had this piece of paper.
Still have
Slayer.
it?
You bet I do. Here it is. I keep it on the desk. This is what essentially kicked everything off, because it all started with Kyler Murray scrubbing his Instagram account on the Monday of Super Bowl week here in this town. Then it led to a whole hoo-ha with this thing coming out right before the combine of him saying, I want out if I don't get paid. Then he gets paid, and we find out there's a clause in the contract that the team is so concerned about his study habits, they demand he has iPad time without a second screen.
That was so weird.
And then they take that clause out because there was such a stink about it, and he doesn't have his top receiver because he gets suspended in the middle of all this for 6 games.
For PEDs.
Dude, this is insane. The longer I talk, the more I remember all the crazy ass, you-know-what stuff, happened. The hell going on is what Stephon Diggs tweeted out on March 23rd.
Hell going on.
And that was the Tyreek Hill news.
That was Tyreek Hill.
Right. And then a week later, Bobby Wagner winds up here in Los Angeles with the defending world champs, who, by the way, just minutes ago announced Les Snead and Sean McVay, the general manager and head coach, have had contract extensions.
Through 2026.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Because, as you know, they're a dynamite combination. And in terms of McVay, there is a lot of football that I would love to see him coach. And in Les Snead, there is a lot of picks I'd like to see him F. Keep on effing. And then, of course, I adore his wife, who I've known for a quarter century, and I love that she's going to be in town at least for the next 5 years. Or forevermore. I love it. I couldn't love it more. I love this sport. I love talking about it. I love you wanting to talk about it in this room, and you wanting to light these phone lines up. Let's take a break. Let's take your phone calls. And Chris Brockman's top 5 teams in the NFL on his top 32 list revealed with their burning questions attached. 844-204-RICH with Dabo Swinney and Thomas Dimitroff still to come.
Season is not over. Take that for Dano.
Back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Eberflus!
Eberflus.
It feels good. By the way, couldn't be a sweeter guy. Met him at the Combine. Couldn't be a nicer guy. Came on the show, right? Couldn't be a nicer guy.
Nicer guy.
And the Bear season's about to happen.
Just doesn't have a great team.
Love
Poor Justin Fields.
Peter in Long Island, New York. Let's take his phone call here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Peter?
Peter.
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
Nassau or Suffolk? Nassau or Suffolk?
Suffolk, of course. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Forget about it.
Jeez, my bad, Peter. I mean, my God. Okay. I mean, it's stomp all over your Hamptons. My goodness. What do you got over there, Peter?
Okay, so I just saw a YouTube video by Z Epic Plays. It was talking about Last Chance University NFL Quarterbacks Edition. So in your opinion, what quarterback is on their last shot, like Carson Wentz, Baker Mayfield, Tua even, and who's going to make who's going to make the most out of it?
Ooh,
Good question.
I like that.
Very good question. I appreciate that, and I have to when I answer this point out that 2 Week 1 starters are 2 former number 2 overall drafted quarterbacks who everybody thought was done as a starter in this league in Mitchell Trubisky and Marcus Mariota. Everybody thought when Tannehill came in and did what he did in Tennessee and Mariota was now a backup for Derek Carr, that would be his role. And that Trubisky, when he finally departed Chicago to go to Buffalo, everybody thought, well, that he's now backup quarterback. They both settled into backup quarterbackdom forevermore, and now here they are starting a season for Atlanta and, my gosh, Pittsburgh. So I have to counsel that, what I'm about to say is it needs to have, I guess, a little bit of a caveat to it. Back here on our terrestrial radio outfit, we got a caller calling in during our YouTube stream segment with Peter from Long Island. You want to know which quarterback could be on thin ice that won't get an opportunity again if they don't get it right now? I'm looking at Jared Goff in Detroit.
Yeah,
Really?
That's a good one, Rich.
I'm looking there. I am, yeah. I'm looking at him. He's expensive. I think if he doesn't perform well there, Detroit will move on. And then which team would pick him up? I don't know who would grab him on that front. Another quarterback would be Tua. I think that he would be dispatched from Miami, and then that would be that for him as a starter for a while if that happens. Baker, I think, would still potentially hook on somewhere else. I don't know. I think if he craps out, would he be a backup quarterback in this league? I don't know. I just can't bring myself to that.
I can see him in a Chase Daniel role, just kind of being a backup for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking around elsewhere. Who would move on? Jalen Hurts? I think Wentz too. I think this is a last ride for Wentz.
Oh, yeah. I think the Commanders make the playoffs, as much as I hate the Commanders.
Okay. Very good, Peter.
Wow.
Thanks for the call, man. That's an interesting talk right there.
That's a hot take.
Tomorrow's show, we're going to do, are we talking playoffs or what, right?
Talking playoffs or what? We're also going to break down.
Who called in and said that one time about the
award
crappy
winners.
Giants? Are we talking playoffs or what? What was that, like 3 years ago? Some guy like the Giants, we all knew the Giants were just going to be a fire of dumpster fires.
talking playoffs or what?
That guy called in.
And he never called back.
Never called
Jinx.
back, right? And he's never called back.
Never called back.
If you're
We were
out
laughing
there,
our asses
let's
off, like,
smoke him out.
Where is it?
playoffs or what?
That
By the
guy
way, 3 years later, we
honestly,
still play this drop.
It was so terrible.
It's a great
looking
drop.
for it was the Pat Shurmur, the low of the Pat Shurmur lows.
We talking playoffs or what?
I mean, and then we're like, that's got to be a drop. And then for the last
turned it
2
into a
years,
segment.
you turn it into a segment where you throw a team at me, and I have to say playoffs
Playoffs or what, man?
or what?
playoffs or what?
Fantastic.
Where is he?
I don't know. Al, we know where Alan Dallas is. He's worrying about his Giants wherever he is. How are you, Al?
Dabo! Oh, I'm sorry.
It doesn't have the same ring,
Yeah, it doesn't
Al.
work,
Just
yeah.
doesn't work.
Nice try.
Gudakoots.
With all due respect from Peter from Suffolk, it's Nassau for life, brother.
I was about to say, Al, I didn't understand the chest puffery over Suffolk County. It did take me on. It did. I know. It did take me back a little bit. I mean, the Islanders only brought the cup to Nassau County, multiple times.
Yeah.
So
okay. I mean, it wasn't going through Baiting Hollow and
I know one's got a cup. One's got the Stanley Cup next door to Queens, and the other one has wetlands and beaches. You know, I mean,
it's
okay.
crazy.
What's going on? What do you got?
And again, to answer Peter's question, the biggest city in the world, the biggest city in the country, Daniel Jones is on the
That's true.
proverbial hot seat for his NFL career, I think, because I don't see him, like you were saying before, a Tua or whoever being a backup. I mean, this is it for DJ. I mean, he's made a score, right? He made a lot of money, but his career could be over.
I don't know. I think he would be a backup somewhere, don't you think? I would think. Or there's, or maybe there's some.
I guess you're going to grind it out. Right?
I don't know. There could be some coach with like Cutcliffe ties or DNA who's like, I can do something with this guy.
Yeah.
To me, Daniel Jones looks like the prototypical takes one coach to say, I got this. That's what I'm saying. Like he can top out at 23 miles an hour before tripping over nothing. And he can also he could throw a deep ball. I mean, he's really talented. And John Mara was right. They have never given him what he needs. They have never given him what he needs.
Timing is everything. Place is everything. It just is what it is, right? Sam Darnold might have been a different quarterback somewhere else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Josh Rosen, who's my guy, who I always said, is a product of the wrong environments every time. And,
Right.
So,
Thanks for the call, Albert. You'd be well. You'd be well.
I'm throwing up the poll. Which quarterback most on thin ice this year? Wentz, Daniel Jones, Tua, Goff?
I don't know. Even though Goff was the first one to top of mind, I think Goff will lose horribly amongst those other three.
Okay. I don't know about you, but that looked like money.
Let's throw. You want to throw? Who else can we throw in there? I mean,
like Wentz and Daniel
three.
Jones for sure.
Yeah, we've already said this months ago. At least I did.
Wentz,
Daniel Jones folders. He'll be working with us next year.
I think throwing Tua in there as well, and Hurts, Jalen Hurts. That's the one.
Ooh, wow.
That's the one. Dude, the other day, just
people
yesterday,
have him like top 5 fantasy.
I know,
right?
and I, as you know, caped for him, saying that people don't believe in him because of his college experience and the place where he was drafted and the manner in which he was shepherded into his gig, and how high he was drafted, despite winning in Alabama. He needed to be benched for Alabama to win. Then he took it as a teammate right on the chin. A whole year of eligibility just sat there instead of demanding to be transferred. And he finally went somewhere, and then he went somewhere where there were 2 other Heisman Trophy winners, and he wasn't one. And then he's drafted second round to Philadelphia, and then he gets his shot, and it gets pulled. Remember, he get pulled in the final game?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's what I guess influences people's opinions of him. And then some guy I saw on WIP saying that maybe I don't watch the games, that he had only 4 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in the last several games last year, and he stunk.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that. Okay. They're in Philadelphia, some people are ready to run him out on a rail.
All right, it's out. Hit it, Rich.
All right. It's time for 5 burning questions. Yes. 1 for each of the top 5 now.
Top 5.
On Chris Brockman's countdown of the top teams in the National Football League. Brought to you by everybody, the NFL stream on Westwood One. This NFL season, every Westwood One NFL broadcast streams live for free. Mondays, Thursdays, Sunday nights, Thanksgiving, Christmas triple headers, the International Series, and every postseason game brings you
Brockman's burning questions.
That's the 5.
All right, Christopher, your top 5.
Top 5. Very excited. Thanks, everybody, for the feedback on this. Have been a lot of fun doing it. Okay, now the team that loses the Super Bowl, Rich, there's just kind of this thought that they struggle the next year, right? So I went back and actually looked it up. Since 2000, okay, there was a stretch where the Super Bowl loser missed the playoffs 6 out of 7 years.
Yeah, that ain't happening this year.
It ain't happening, Rich. It ain't happening recently. Since 2009, 10 of the 13 Super Bowl losers made the playoffs the next year. 7 won playoff games. Of course, the 2018 Patriots made it all the way back to the Super Bowl, and we know that they won it. So the Super Bowl hangover for the loser is no more. What did the Bengals do? They're my number 5 team. What did they do to get better in the offseason, Rich? They got better on the offensive line. Joe Burrow was sacked the league high 51 times last year. So my burning question for the Bengals is, will that revamped offensive line
Bingo.
be enough to get the Bengals back to the big game?
And I think it will. I think it can be. How about that? It can be, because I think the Bills are still the team to beat. But man, if it's an AFC Championship game and Joe Burrow strolling into Western New York, I would be nervous.
That would be sick.
I would be nervous if I'm circling the wagons in Buffalo. But that's it. Is it fixing the line? Is that going to get him to the mountaintop again? Who's number 4?
Number 4 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you know, guys, that Tom Brady led the league in completions, attempts, yards, touchdowns last year? He had the most passing yards of his entire career at age 44. Most touchdowns since 2007 when he lit the league on fire. But my burning question, of course, is this finally the year that Tom Brady falls off the cliff?
So odd that you moved on from Cincinnati to that question, Chris.
Thank you,
It's so odd you would move on from Cincinnati to move on to Cincinnati. You ain't falling off a cliff. What's next over there, Chris?
Number 3, I got the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow, the Chiefs are 3 on the list.
I got to
Stone
say,
Street's going to love you.
I was out on the Chiefs earlier this offseason.
Boy,
now
they
I'm back
pulled you back in.
But the burning question is, of course, what is the offense going to look like without Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, and the defense, what's it going to be without Tyrann Mathieu? I like that kid Karlaftis out of Purdue that they drafted. He's going to be a sneaky defensive rookie of the year choice. I think he's going to be really good. Wow, you got the Chiefs 3rd overall. But that is essentially the question. No Tyreek.
Yeah, I think so.
What shot do they have? What's the offense going to look
all right,
like?
top 2 teams, and with all due respect to Western New York, I have them number 2 because they are not the champs. And for the Bills, will they finally live up to all the expectations that we've not seen on this team since the early 90s? They're the Super Bowl betting favorites. Josh Allen is the betting favorite for MVP. The expectations are there. The pressure is there. Can they live up to it? And the number 1 team are the champs. Rams house. Whose house, Mike? The Los Angeles Rams. What will Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford do for an encore? Because we saw Cooper Kupp put up the greatest wide receiver season ever. Matthew Stafford had the best year of his career overall. And can they do it again?
I think those last 5 burning questions, I agree with the exception of Brady. Is he going to fall off a cliff? It's really, can the Buccaneers protect him?
Yeah, I just didn't want to go back-to-back offensive
That's
lines.
my question, is can they protect him? But that's the 5 burning questions getting ready for the season. The Rams top your power rankings, huh? How about
Well,
them
to be the
apples?
man, you got to beat the man. And right now, they're the man.
Okay. Those 5 burning questions and all of them. Great job, by the way, Chris, on that for the last week. Hour 2 coming up, Dabo Swinney. I think you threw Mike off by throwing him in at the end there. You said, whose house? Rams house. Do you want to drop?
Whose house?
Like Mike's like,
I wanted you to yell Rams house.
When they hang
Whose
that
house?
banner in
Rams house.
SoFi.
Mike's like sitting there saying, I'm playing the music. I'm listening to every word you're saying. Like, what the hell was that all about?
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Rams, I'm waiting tonight. My voice is already a little hoarse.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Yeah, Eberflus got me.
Oh, Eberflus got me. I got a lozenge over here.
You got to pace yourself on the Eberfluses, folks.
Yeah, it's like, oh. Might have...
I just literally said that, with not a hint of irony. Not a hint of irony at all. Wow, you got the Chiefs 3rd. You are so out on them, and they pulled you back in.
They pulled me back in. Mina said it yesterday, too. They played in the preseason, which I thought was really important.
They sure did.
And they looked really good when they were out there. And I was like, wait a second.
They did. They did. How great. Their first 2 games, man. The late window, I believe it's CBS, right? I imagine it's going to be Romo and Nance in the desert for Kansas City at Arizona. Kansas City at Arizona. No, that's on Fox. No, hold on a minute. My bad. I'm looking up.
Right?
No, it's on CBS. Yeah,
it's CBS.
And at the same time, the Chargers play the Raiders, and then the Chiefs play the Chargers in the first Amazon game with Al and Kirk Herbstreit to kick off week 2. Oh, baby.
I can't think about week 2. We got week 1 tonight.
That is correct, sir. Dabo Swinney at Clemson, and we'll talk to Thomas Dimitroff, former front office exec in Atlanta, coming up.
Come on, thanks.
Tagovailoa.
Let's hit them all now while we got the muscle.
On fleek.
Holla at a brother.
Welcome to the party, pal. Let's get them all. Let's hit them all now while we got the muscle.
Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show.
Yeah, man.
Belmont Saints.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Come on.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Matt Ryan's ready. Tannehill's ready. Everybody in the AFC West is up and ready. Dak's ready. Jalen Hurts is ready. Carson Wentz, even he's ready. Matthew Stafford. Ooh, my arm.
The Rich Eisen Show. Earlier on the show, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. Coming up, former NFL general manager Thomas Dimitroff. Former Pro Bowl center Eric Wood. Plus your phone calls, latest news, and more. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Yes, it is. Hour number 2 of this show on the air here on our YouTube stream, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Also the home of our near 8-year history of our extensive library of all the guests and all the segments that we've had over 8 years of fun here on this program that moves and migrates to the Roku channel starting on Monday. It is going to be a lot of fun there, just like it's always been in every spot that we've been for the almost 8 years. And we say hello again to our YouTube streamers today and who've been enjoying watching the show live on our YouTube stream the last couple weeks. But the live version of this show exclusively moving to the Roku channel starting on Monday. And it's going to be great. And the best thing, it's going to be free. And our friends, our new friends at Roku, they've been so supportive. They've been so terrific. We're just as fired up as they are. They're just as fired up as us. And I'm loving it. And you're going to love it as well. Any Roku player, any Roku device, any Samsung smart television, any Amazon Fire TV, any mobile device, you put the Roku app there and the Roku channel's on the Roku app. You get it for free. And so many people have said that they stream this show live on a desktop. Guess what? The RokuChannel.com. We are free there too. Every day, 12 to 3 Eastern, it's still going to be us folks here and you hopefully there as well. We're still on our Westwood One terrestrial radio affiliate network coast to coast, still on Odyssey. We will have in short order, promise you, information how to follow us and listen to us on Sirius and XM as well. That's going to happen, and I can't wait to bring you that information as well. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Former Buffalo Bill Eric Wood is in town for tonight's kickoff just up the road at SoFi. He's joining us in hour number 3. Thomas Dimitroff, the former executive, front office executive in Atlanta, and also spent a lot of time in New England. He's going to be joining us in about 20 minutes' time. But we turn to the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line for a man who just and his Clemson Tigers just beat Georgia Tech in week number 1. They're the 5th-ranked team in these United States entering week 2 of the college football season. He is a newsmaker of the first variety, and he just signed a new contract extension in Clemson. 2-time national champion head coach on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line from Clemson, Dabo Swinney. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. Good to be with you, man. Hope you're well.
I am doing fine. So congrats on the contract extension. How long has this been in the works for yourself?
Well, I appreciate it. And, honestly, it's something that our new AD, Graham Neff, approached, my agents about really last December. And so something that, and I think he just wanted to, he really kind of drove the timing, to be honest with you. And so just thankful and humbled and, grateful to him and our board and just, all the players and staff that we've had for all the years here and to have the opportunity to, call Clemson our home. I've been here. This is my 20th season and my 14th as the head coach. So it's been I've raised, as you said, you've got 3 kids. I've got 3 kids and they all have grown up here in Clemson. My baby was born here. And so it's been I got 2 graduates of Clemson, and my youngest just became a freshman. So certainly a place that we love, and just thankful that got the opportunity to continue to do something that I love at a place I love.
Well, normally when I'm talking to somebody like yourself with your stature and your resume, and you've just signed an extension, a long-term extension, after having been where you are for so long, I would ask how things have changed since you've been there, and we all know how they've changed. So I guess my question with college football is what do you think it's going to look like in 2030, Coach? I think that's the more valuable question here with the state of affairs, don't you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's what's it going to look like in 2024. It's probably more valid. It's a crazy time right now in college athletics. A lot of change, a lot of unknowns. I do think things are heading in a good direction. I think the popularity of the sport's never been better. That's for sure. And there's I think certainly some type of major change coming, probably structurally sooner than later, when it comes to I think governance structure, how the Power 5 is organized, and we've got expansion coming. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. But people love college football. There's no doubt about that. And I think we're well positioned. We've been a school that has kept the main thing for years. And, we've been one of the top academic football programs in the country for many years now. And, our plan is for that to continue to be the case and to continue to win at a high level, on and off the field, and, have a program that graduates our players and really, builds them and equips them for whatever comes next after football and after Clemson, and make sure they have a good experience and make sure we win championships. And it's really that really hasn't changed. But there's a lot of new things to navigate as we go through it. But I do think that, again, there's always unintended consequences from good changes that come about. But I think we're heading in a good direction. And, honestly, the more chaos, the better, in my opinion, because I think we kind of get there sooner than later, where ultimately I think it's going to be.
Well, I mean, and I know you're in the midst of a playing season now, and I know you're getting ready for Furman on your schedule, Louisiana Tech, and then your ACC schedule right after that. But this is the first time I have spoken to you since you said that the sport was headed for a complete blow-up, and you called the transfer portal total chaos, referring to it as tampering galore. So that would indicate that you thought that football was headed in the wrong direction. So have you changed your stance on those subject matters?
No. I still no. We still have chaos. I just think it's going to ultimately lead us where, I think it's going, and that is a restructuring of college football, because I think college football needs that. College football, in particular, the Power Five, need a new governance structure, and there's no doubt about that. And I think for the first time, really, since I've been in college athletics, the decision makers, I think, agree with that. And, figuring out what that looks like, I think, is the next step. But there some of the unintended the transfer is good. The fact that guys can go places, that's great. But there's a lot of unintended consequences that come with that. And, there is tampering. There is some, young people being manipulated and making decisions for, wrong reasons. There's a lot of things that come with it, but the good from it far outweighs the bad. And I think it'll all settle out. It's chaotic for sure right now. I don't think there's ever been more chaos when it comes to just, where we are organizationally, structurally, governance-wise, enforcement of rules, all those type of things. There's a lot of moving parts. But I do think that is going to ultimately drive us to a better place, and bring about some of the, I think, big changes that need to happen in college football.
Well, I mean, those changes would probably be easier to implement if there was a smaller subset of schools in its own world to govern themselves, right? And I'm here in Los Angeles, Dabo Swinney, otherwise now known as Big Ten country, which I never thought was possible.
Yeah.
Right. So the question is what? Let's just say there's a smaller subset of schools, right? And you're part of it.
Yeah.
And they ask you, what do you think needs to be done to guardrail matters? What would be your stance on, say, NIL on that front? Just the guardrail on that. Anything?
Yeah, well, there's the NIL is great, but there again, in some instances, it's being used in a way it's not intended. I think the NIL is another great opportunity for us to further equip our guys to be ready for the world. It's a part of the education process, and it's things that we've always tried to equip our guys with financial literacy and tax education and all these things. And so now you've got a chance to have some real world application of that, which I think would be good. But I think just, again, if the way you're structured now, it's just not feasible anymore. And honestly, it's probably been antiquated for a while, but and I'm not saying, I think there still should be, there's definitely a role for the NCAA. You have to have order. You have to have structure. You have to have some type of guidelines and rules in place. And without it, it does lead to chaos and uncertainty. And we've got a situation right now in college football where it's a mess. It's a lot of gray. I mean, and that leads to, tampering and a lot of people being involved that don't need to be involved. And I think more importantly, it distracts from the main thing, and that is our responsibility in college athletics. That is to educate young people. I believe that we have to stay focused on the scholastic aspect of college athletics. And, we know 98% of these young men are not going to play in the pros. And we have to equip them. And I think, as we modernize the game, modernize the structure, further share and incentivize players, but do it through the academic process and incentivize education and graduation and all those things. So I think there's a lot of moving parts and people a lot smarter than me that will figure out. But I do think to do that, you've got to have a different governance structure, because you can't have, we have a football oversight committee, for example, and the makeup of that is not reflective of the needs from the Power Five, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that's, whether that's good or bad or whatever, that's just the way it is. And then you have an NCAA council where, you're trying to make soccer the same as football or whatever, and there's just different worlds, and I think that there's a real role still for the NCAA, but I do think being able to streamline things and be much more efficient in decisions that need to happen, like that could happen in a day or a week, takes years. And that whole process is just doesn't work. And, so that's what I mean by the more chaos, the better, because I think ultimately it's driving everything to a better place that we're going to land. When do we get there? I don't know. Is it next year? Is it 24? Is it 2031, as you said there? I don't know. But I do think there has to be some type of break where things can be done on a timely manner that are reflective of the membership. And so it's just not our reality right now. But I do think college football will get there at some point. And there'll be a lot of smart people. And what does that look like? Is there a commissioner? Are there leagues? Or are they divisions?
Mm-hmm.
And, as the expansion grows, and, how all that gets shaken out, a lot of smart people will figure it out. But I know this, man. Our main objective is to build great men through this game, and to make sure that we teach them to use the game and not let the game use them. And that has to be the objective. And college athletics provides access and opportunity and relationships and experiences, and opportunities to create life-changing transformation, throughout people's lives. So I think it's a great platform, and again, a lot of good days ahead. And,
sure.
Sometimes you got to go through some stuff, but we're going to get there.
Well, I mean, in terms of getting there faster, which you've said a couple times, 2 minutes left here with Dabo Swinney, the Clemson head coach. Your domino could blow this thing completely up if you choose, or Clemson chooses to tap out of the ACC at some point. And I understand there's television rights and things that make my eyes glaze over, and I'm sure my listeners and viewers, as well as your eyes glaze over as well. But if Clemson decides to move on and join another conference, that would speed this process up, I think, considerably. Notre Dame's another one, and you guys play each other. By the way, get ready for these questions that week leading up to that game too, Dabo Swinney. But how active is Clemson on that front right now? Can you share with us?
Oh man, I have no idea. I leave that up to the people that are involved. Man, we've been a charter member of the ACC for a long time. We got a great league. Yeah, there's some complications. There's some challenges. But again, I think ultimately it's going to all be driven by a group of people that eventually will get in a room together and put all feelings aside and do what's best for college football. I think ultimately we'll get there. And I think things where we are right now is probably going to be very different in a couple of years. And we'll probably looking back at today and go, well, I thought this was going to happen, and it didn't. So I don't know about all that stuff. I just know that, my job is to have our team ready and to make sure that we have a program that, is a model program in college football. And that's what we're going to continue to do, whether we're in the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac, whatever, or the new World College Football League. I have no idea. Man, we're gonna. Clemson is a special place, and going to always be a special place, and it'll always be one of those programs that's going to have a seat at the table.
Do you like the 12-team playoff idea that was forwarded and apparently approved? Do you like that, Coach?
Well, I mean, I'm a traditional college guy, and I'll be honest with you, I like the BCS. I thought that was just fine, and the 4 was just fine.
You like the computers? You like the computers and the slide rule and all those? You like that? I couldn't figure it out.
I just think that. Well, I think with the governance structure, that's one of the reasons why I think there needs to be a new governance structure, because having a tournament with 131 teams, for football, because football is really not a tournament sport.
Yes.
And I think it waters it down, and that's another reason why I think if expansion is what we want, then there has to be some change there. The NFL there's a reason why they have 32 teams, and so it is what it is. People want that, and there's some consequences that will come with that. I think it's going to be great. People love college football, and people think that more is better, and maybe that will be the case, and a lot of people can debate. But there will be some consequences with that when it comes to, maybe some in-season type of things. But I'm excited about it, and because again, we all knew this was coming, so the sooner the better, because then we can move on and focus on, what we got to do to manage getting our teams ready and what's the calendar going to look like, how do we, prepare, all those things, because there'll be a lot of change that will come with a 12-team playoff. So it'll certainly create more access for more teams, we'll be ready and willing here to participate in however it shakes out.
Before I let you
12 or 8 or 16 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Before I let you go, do you have a quarterback competition maybe on your hands in your current team?
Oh, we got a left tackle competition, a receiver competition, a running back competition, a quarterback competition. I mean, we've got 3 5-star quarterbacks in our room, and DJ has earned the right to be the starter without question, and but we got Cade has demonstrated that, man, he can win for us based on what we've seen in practice, and then we finally got a chance to get a little bit of game experience. But he's certainly proven that, hey, he deserves the opportunity to play within the flow of the game or season as we go, and so nobody has a lifetime contract. In college football, man, you got to show up every week, and you got to go prove it and earn it. And I don't think we're any different than a lot of places out there. But we're very fortunate, man. We've got really good players. DJ is a very talented young man, and did a lot of good things last week, especially in the second half. And then to be able to get Cade in there was a blessing too. So, hopefully we can get Hunter Johnson some opportunity as well. He's another, very talented player. So we've got a good situation, and but we certainly have competition at every position, which I think makes us, a team that has an opportunity to compete for this league.
And last one for you, Coach. I have not seen a quarterback come into the league like Trevor Lawrence and have a set of circumstances surround him in his first year quite like what Trevor Lawrence went through last year. Have you spoken with him and connected with him about what happened last year and how this year? I mean, talk about a fresh start. My goodness, I don't even know how you can evaluate him off of that first season. Quite frankly. So
of course. I've seen him, talked to him, and many times. During the season last year, after the season. This preseason, I mean, he's in a great place. No matter what happens, we all learn and grow from the good and the bad.
Right.
Sometimes you learn more from the bad than the good. But he's in a good place, and man, he loves where they are, and I don't have any doubt that he's got better days ahead. With both individually and then also with their team there in Jacksonville. So I'm excited to see him get back at it, and he's excited. And just like I said, he's grown a lot and learned a lot. Again, good and bad, and he'll build on that.
Coach, thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it. Let's connect down the line, if you don't mind, throughout the season. Your Clemson Tigers well positioned after 1 week. It's early on, but I appreciate the 2 cents figuratively, and then congratulations on your dollars and cents and your long-term contract for your family.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Take care. That's Dabo Swinney, the head coach of Clemson football, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we return to the world of professional football. Thomas Dimitroff, who is assistant GM, if I'm not mistaken, once upon a time was named Les Snead, who's raising a banner tonight. Lots to talk about with TD, formerly of the ATL, when we come back. Just hung up with Dabo Swinney moments ago. Let's be honest. If Clemson says we're out, and he says he wants things to move faster. He wants chaos because we're going to get to the spot where we all know that it's going to go. College football is going to go faster, right? That chaos means getting to a place where schools of like-minded interests can get together and say NIL deals are like this, transfer portals like this, scheduling is like this, the playoffs are like this. It's tough to do that when there's, 500 member schools, right? And as he said, the NCAA wants to make college football similar to, like, one size fits all, with all due respect to every other sport. There's nothing like college football in terms of interest in revenue generation. There's nothing comes close. So if we're inexorably going towards what I've been saying we're going towards, which is professionalization of this entire process, where the Big Ten can get a television deal similar to the one that Major League Baseball has. And suddenly the Big Ten has a team on the East and West Coast, Rutgers and USC and UCLA. And the NIL deals are significant and this and that. Then you're going to get towards 2 conferences or 3 conferences together of about 60 teams, 80 teams? The faster you get there, the better it is for everyone, so we can have some order for things. Yep. Nothing will accelerate that faster than Notre Dame saying we'll join Conference X and Clemson saying we're leaving the ACC for Conference Y. That's it.
Correct.
Nothing will speed that process up faster.
Yep.
With all due respect to Oregon and anybody else in the Pac-12 or anybody else in the Big 12 or anybody else in the ACC. Florida State, maybe, right? That you might put them in that mix, maybe?
Sure.
But he says, I'm just the coach. I don't know. So, back here on the Rich Eisen Show, 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. Longtime friend. TD and I go way back. Not to his New England days, his Atlanta general managing days. And I just remember him being here in Los Angeles, California, with his right-hand man, talking about the future of the Atlanta Falcons. His right-hand man was named Les Snead, and tonight Les Snead is the general manager of the team raising a banner, and he's got a new contract of being the general manager of the Los Angeles Rams through 2026. Same thing as Sean McVay is locked up. Joining us here back on the Rich Eisen Show, Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, the host of the GM Journey podcast and so much more, my friend Thomas Dimitroff. What's up, Thomas?
Rich, it is so great to hear you, and thanks. It's been a while, and I can't wait to connect.
I mean, let's do it. You remember that time in Los Angeles? It was you and Les and I were all having a drink, and look at Les, man, right? Look at where Les is today. Unbelievable.
Look at Les, effing them picks, being where he is. He is the maverick GM in this league, and I love it. He and I talk more regularly now than we probably ever have, and it's been a really enjoyable journey watching him develop and evolve, man. It's really cool, Rich.
Well, it's the maverick, I guess you're referring to, is the effing of picks, right? But it's not all the picks. Clearly, they make draft choices, and they're important draft choices for him to make and for him and his staff to hit on. But what are you willing to share with everybody about his general managing and his thinking that's led to tonight's banner raising, Thomas?
Well, look, it's a great point, and the way I look at it is, of course, Les knows the importance of personnel, draft-related personnel. He also understands the importance of there are projections. It's one of the most difficult things as a general manager per acquisition. It's projecting in the NCAA into the NFL. And what he has done and his group has done is make sure that they're focusing on the people out there, the free agents that they're acquiring, pay the money for them, don't have any uncertainties about them for the most part, know what they are and what they aren't as the acquisitions that he's made. And if some of those guys aren't, necessarily completely alert in meetings, I won't go into that, they know what it is and they know what to expect. They'll get the most out of that player. And then really focus on those mid-rounds and try to make sure that you're putting the focus on those mid-rounds, get the guys right at the front of the free agency mode. And I think they have a really, really keen approach to this. It's not just relying on the value of draft picks. It's putting the best team together. And I say this time and again, that general manager in this league, I learned this from Bill Belichick, no question. You know your team better than anyone else. Everyone else can project. Les knows all facets of his team. He knows what's best for he and Coach McVay. And I just, again, admiral in his approach.
And when did you first meet him, Thomas? When did he first get on your radar?
Yeah. It's a great point. Les and I ended up meeting way back in the early years of our career. I'd say, man, almost 25 years ago. And we were close. We got along a lot from the standpoint of fitness and eating food. We weren't out there big party guys, but we had a really good interaction with a lot of people in the league. And our focus was on football as well as life in general. And we both always had an interest in trying to grow and professionally develop. And that's where our friendship grew. We ended up communicating in between those times before we even became partners, at the Atlanta Falcons. And to go into the Falcons and Les to be there as my right-hand guy was really, really important at the outset. I needed the right soldiers around me, and Les was great with that early on in that process.
Thomas Dimitroff here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, week one of an NFL season for a general manager. I mean, is your work pretty much done? Practice squad set, roster set. You have to massage the cap a little bit. Maybe you get someone to make. I guess I just saw the Steelers got T.J. Watt's deal kind of redone to give them some more cap room. What does a week one for a general manager mean right now, Thomas?
You know what? Yeah, week one's, Rich. I think, you look at your entire roster, you look at your organization, you're really, really focused on week one and kicking it off in the right way. There's been a lot of talk out there about week one. You're hoping that your head coach as a general manager is going to be really creative with week one. And I think week one presents these teams with the opportunity to be creative. They can throw twists into their approach because there's been nothing really revealed for the most part in the preseason, right? So I think that's an important thing. Regarding roster and roster optimization, to me that is vital. You need to not only see what you have in place, but you also need to continue to look out and always be in front of the curve. That's the way I've always perceived it. And I'm sure in this situation Les does. He looks at what his roster is. He looks at what may be coming up as far as contracts, of course. He's got his staff out on the road already starting their college looks. And he starts putting his mind as a general manager, I'm talking about Les, to see what is out there and what direction he's going to go to fill those ostensible needs down the road with his group. Week one, pressure laden for sure, but you need to kick it off. It's like just putting your feet into it all or dipping your toes into it. Once that starts, you get into a roll. But man, it is pressure laden coming into the first game.
And what an off season it was. I mean, we were just talking about it, Thomas, in the first hour, that this is going to be the best NFL season ever because that March where we saw retirements and unretirements and we saw top-notch A-list players on the move at quarterback, wide receiver, and Bobby Wagner being the last, I guess, move of March. Now he's between Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Which of the March moments, free agent signings, acquisitions, trades, retirement, unretirement, do you think is the most impactful for the season, where you as a GM get ready for your GM Journey podcast and everything else going on in your world? You're like, that's the one that's the difference maker. Which one?
Wow. There are so many out there, Rich, that I looked at. Like you said, I mean, it's an amazing year. It's fun to watch now, stepping back and to be able to take it all in.
But you may only choose one, Thomas. You may only choose one. That is the construct. I'm putting you in the box. This is Sports Talk Radio, for crying out loud. What do you got for me?
I mean, Russell Wilson, all eyes are on at so many levels on that. If you're referring to something like that,
yes,
it goes way beyond the acquisition for George Payton and the Broncos to do what they perceived as the right thing. To know the repercussions of what's going on in Seattle with John Snyder and company, that is another big deal. There's so much going on there. How it's going to affect the rest of the division, how it's truly going to affect the perception of quarterbacks into their 30s and the payment and the numbers that are going involved. This, to me, is a really interesting crossroads for this week. I go all the way back to when I pulled the trigger on Matt Ryan to give him his final contract when I was there. And we had everyone different levels saying, he only give him, 2.95% or 29 and a quarter. And, making that decision to go up to $30 million, knowing that right around the corner in the next 2 months, someone's going to jet past them. This league is amazing where the money is at all levels, not only with quarterbacks in this situation, with general managers and head coaches. it's amazing to see it. I think Russell Wilson is the one I'm watching closely at all levels.
Well, and then, of course, the Deshaun Watson contract having so many ripple effects, even though Arizona with one quarterback and then Denver with another, with Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, did not fully guarantee the entire deal, the first two. So how do you see that playing out with Eric DeCosta and Lamar Jackson, who set a Friday deadline on getting something done? What's your suss there?
Yeah, and that's an interesting one to watch. They know how important that quarterback is. I mean, personally, I see him playing out. They want to get that deal done, and they should want to get that deal done. He offers so much to that organization. Of course, there are creative elements that come with a quarterback like Lamar. They also know there are challenges. Hopefully, they can have the right people around him. I love that organization. I think they're so well thought out. And of course, Eric's going to do the right thing, and I think it's taking care of business as it needs to be done.
So, what do you think it is? What's your assessment of what the holdup is? Because you got again a contract like Watson sitting out there, and then you've got a player representing himself. I imagine you've never had something like that you dealt with back in your day. But what is the issue? Best you can tell.
I personally. Again, I think the issue is making sure that they realize the value of this quarterback, of course,
right.
And they just want to make sure, again, not dealing with agent. I have not dealt with that before. That is new to me. But the idea of being able to jump in and say we are committing for X amount of years to a system and an approach that we know we're going to have to approach with this type of a quarterback, I think that weighs on their mind. I don't think it's that easy, although I think it's really, really important for them to check the box on and make sure it's done here.
Thomas Dimitroff, I'd like you to put your Belichick whisperer hat on, knowing him or being around him for as much as you were back in the day. What do you think is going on with the play calling there? I mean, all of New England is freaking out going into this number 2 season for Mac Jones after a remarkable first year, making the playoffs as a rookie, and Josh McDaniels not being there, handing the play calling off to two guys he knows very well, or one guy he knows very well, and handing it off to somebody who's never done it before. What do you think his thinking is right now, Thomas?
I believe that, Bill has a very good understanding of what's around him. And that's one of the things that Bill had always taught anyone that comes through there. You know your group, you know your intelligence. First of all, I don't think Bill gives a flip about what any of us think about this. We all know that. And secondly, I think even though there's a whole bunch of banter out there about who should take the lead on it, I think Bill knows deep down that he's going to be the overview of all of this. He's got two really important and smart people in that role, whether they're defensive-minded or offensive-minded. I was curious to see how that was going to play out. And I really believe that, he wants a little bit of the mystery to it. Bill never wants to, if I may speak about him, yeah. I don't think he ever wants to reveal anything. And he wants there to be a little bit of mystery to it so that people can't point to any elements of play calling leading into this season.
But wouldn't it be, I guess, I shall have the temerity to question, wouldn't it be more sensible to get somebody who has done it before and bring that person in and teach them the Patriot way, the Belichick way, rather than bringing in somebody who's fully versed on the Patriot way and the Belichick way and handing them the reins of a very important season for their sophomore year quarterback? Thomas.
Yes, I just think with Coach Belichick, I think his approach has always been he knows best. And he's going to be putting his group in the right situation as they are, and whoever he ends up pulling the trigger on the play calling, he's got a plan for that already. And I can't sit there and sort of project why he's doing it necessarily, but for the fact that he knows best. He's already had those guys, I'm sure, on the board many times talking about how they would approach it, and I think he's extremely confident with his intelligence level there. And in the end, Bill is Bill. Bill does not think, I believe, that there's anyone in the league that can go toe-to-toe with him per, the logistics and the play calling of his team.
Last one for you, Thomas. I'm going to give you another sports talk radio question, so here we go. You can only choose one roster, the Super Bowl winning roster. What do you take? You can take one roster on the National Football League and say, I will take that roster to win it all. Which roster is it entering week 1? What do you got?
Look, I'm a huge fan of both the game tonight, and I'm a big fan of the Bills, and I just think I love where the Bills are right now. I love what they're doing with Brandon being at the lead of it all. I know this isn't roster related. I love what they're doing with Sean McDermott as a coach GM build. That's a big thing for me. Where they are on the roster with Josh Allen, of course, Stephon Diggs. I mean, look, I just think they are rounded and they have the approaches they know about. They're going to come with a lot of fierceness to them, and I think they are gung-ho and very, very focused to come in and kick a lot of ass in this situation. I'd go with them.
You like the Bills, just like everybody's on them. And I'm on them too, Thomas. I'm on them too. You just look at the way that they are rostered and put together, and then what beats inside when they actually play the game. It's tough not to take them. It really is.
I agree. I think again, what they're facing. Any team coming in with that background and their approach and what they're putting their money into and how they're looking at things and understanding the importance of morale and growth and evolution. That's been fun watching that. And anytime anyone's put together a winning type of team, there are so many layers. Rarely, in my mind, is it luck. Of course, the ball has to bounce your way. But again, you're not only talking about the roster itself, you're talking about how the organization is set up. And I just think the Bills are a class organization with a lot of upside, of course.
By the way, I lied. I have one more. I always have one more. You want to take your best guess on the first situation where a rookie's going to start? You got something for me there? What's your best guess? Could it be your old spot? Pittsburgh? Could it possibly be Tennessee? Washington? What do you got for me on that?
I think it's Pittsburgh. I think they're it's not Pittsburgh, right? No, I don't think so. Let me jump around here.
Sure, go ahead.
Let's talk eventually Pittsburgh. You talking on day one?
No, I'm talking about which invariably the drafted rookie gets a shot. What do you think? Where do you think the first one is there? Is it Desmond Ridder in your old spot? Could it be Trubisky sitting because they think Pickett's ready? Could it be Sam Howell in Washington? Could it be Malik Willis, who looked terrific in the preseason, but it is preseason? That's I guess those are your options right now.
These are great, Rich. I'm going to stay in Atlanta since I'm sitting here down the street from the stadium, and I will say Ridder. I think Marcus Mariota, great soul, as you know, great person. Yes. That organization, I think, believes they know what they have in Marcus, and they know they need to start getting this organization their heads around a growing, prospect for the future. And like we did with Matt Ryan way back, we were very creative with how we put him on the scene early. Mm-hmm. We made sure we surrounded him with the right people. They've done a nice job, Terry Fontenot and co., as far as putting together that offensive group. After coming off some major moves with the receiver group leaving, of course, and Matt Ryan leaving. I mean, there's a lot around this organization that needs to help Ridder grow, understand the need to increase their run game or improve their run game. That is vital. And I think they're going to go after that a little bit into the season and realize what they have in Desmond. Speaking of growing and
making the most of things, what's going on with Sumer Sports? You're involved in an analytics startup along with your podcast. Is that what you're doing, TD?
I am. Yeah, I am. Rich, the podcast itself, very quickly, GM Journey. I love that. I set out last year to go out and interview 16 or 17 in the spirit of professional development. I didn't want to end up in Burgundy drinking French wine all off season, so I thought I'd go out and spend time with my contemporaries and had a great time there. Learned a lot. That was a great adventure that I had there, and a lot of really cool stuff to share. And by the way, let me add, and I am defending my GM brethren here, I think too often in this league the general managers are marginalized. The general managers bring so much to the table, so much insight and intelligence and direction for this league, and I think too often the owners, the head coach, the quarterback take the stage, and I understand that there is a lot to glean from these GMs. So very, very important as we're moving forward. And, oh, by the way,
yes, sir,
a whole other topic. You get a GM and you get a head coach, that salary gap is huge right now. That's a whole other topic of conversation. Head coaches should be making a lot of money. I get it. There should not be the gap that there is, generally speaking, between the two in my mind. That's one thing. Sumer Sports, if you don't mind me asking or adding, Sumer is a startup company that I joined about 7 or 8 months ago. I'm really excited about being involved with it. Where the world is right now in the league and the evolving elements of data analytics, roster optimization is really key to me and dear to my heart. I think there's a lot to learn and a lot to grow in that area. And quite honestly, versus me going and having an opportunity to be, an assistant GM somewhere or a consultant for one of my buddies at a team, I can learn a lot more in this world for now if there ever were to be another opportunity on my doorstep.
Thomas, you're the best man. Let's stay in touch throughout the season. I'd love to get your thoughts on what we're about to witness. Thanks for the time, brother.
Thank you so much, brother.
That's Thomas Dimitroff. Check out his podcast, the GM Journey podcast, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. We'll take a break. Jameis Winston with a new take on the children's hit Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes. And more of your phone calls. That's next on The Rich Eisen Show.
Mike Del Tufo over there, when Justin Hartley of This Is Us was here on Friday, he planks weights on his back. Okay, there he is, putting plank after plank. That was a 45-pound. He waves on more weight. See, come on, let's get some more. Right? Del Tufo sees this and he goes, I could do that, is what he said. And he said he would do 145. Now, we took that, when you say when he can do 145, how much weight do you think that means? Just off
145.
Right. No.
One plate that weighs 45 pounds.
Get out of here.
How long do you say you can do that?
A minute. Come on.
All right, here we go. Mike,
get off your knees. Go to the right spot in your mind now. Go to the right spot in your mind, buddy. Come on. Look at us. All we see is the finish line, baby. All we see
Coach
is
him up,
victory.
Irv.
That's
Coach
all
him
you
up.
see. Victory is simple, baby.
Ooh.
Right now, don't worry about the
Okay.
body, baby. Our mind's controlling our body. Our
Preach,
body
Michael,
don't
preach.
control our mind. We got this, baby. We got this. We gonna show the world That's what you're about.
What do we got?
Show the world, baby. Don't worry about it.
Just only 24 seconds.
Don't worry about it.
Flatten out.
Don't worry about it.
Here
You
we
got 2 blocks out.
All right.
You got 2 blocks gone.
Halfway home.
You got 2 blocks gone. You got
Halfway
2 more
home.
go. All see, just see that finish line. Look at the glory. Look at your chest touching the tape. Get your chest on that tape. Look at your baby.
20 seconds to go.
You're coming in 20 seconds, baby. You can finish this, man. We can do this. I'm kidding. Be a man. Be a man. Get up there, buddy. Way to go, baby. Way to go. Think about your lady.
I do that every day, people, at the gym.
I can't tell.
I do it.
I love it. Mooch is the best, man. Oh, that is the best.
Oh, my God.
We're back here on our terrestrial radio outfit. When you become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union, guess what? Life gets better. It gets better because the one big thing that gets better is buying a car. See, Navy Federal created a fully loaded car buying experience for you where you can finance, buy, protect, and even enjoy your auto purchase all from one convenient place. They offer great auto loan rates, too. And your pre-approval is good for 90 days, so you can know what you can afford while you shop. You can even shop for new and used cars with Navy Federal's car buying service, powered by TrueCar. Also, you can get exclusive member savings with Carfax, SiriusXM, and more. And because it's Navy Federal, they're always available with 24/7 member service representatives to answer any questions. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/car buying. That's NavyFederal.org/car buying. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Navy Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA. Lost amongst the Tom Brady hoopla. And
Knee
the
deep
Baker and the Baker Mayfield hoopla in the NFC South is the fact that the New Orleans Saints are moving forward with Jameis Winston. In case you're wondering if Jameis Winston knows his body, because that's the question. How's he coming back from his knee injury? If you're wondering, does he know his body? Because, again, he's rehabbing that knee. He sure does. All I know is this is the greatest, either the greatest biology lesson ever or a new children's tune hit based on the Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes theme song that we all know. Jameis Winston yesterday on his body.
I learned so much about my body when I had the ACL, just the importance of other parts of your body being overcompensated because you're overusing something else. So just a holistic body, everything about your body, you have to be able to work certain things. Just because my knee hurting, that doesn't mean that I need to work my knee. I need to work my hips, right? I need to work my ankles. And you got certain things that we're all like, our body is so symmetrical, right? You got your wrists, and then what are your wrists on the bottom half? Your ankles, you got your shoulders up top. What are your shoulders? Your hips, you know what I'm saying? You got your elbows. What are your elbows? Your knees, right? Like, so it's symmetrical, and you just got to work different parts.
So from now on,
he's amazing.
Refer to your ankles around here as your bottom wrists. And your elbows as your top knees. Can you want to write it down so you remember? Hey, the high ankle, lower wrist sprain. Matt Stafford's knees are fine. What he had surgically repaired was his upper knee. His throwing upper knee.
Yeah.
Which is kind of makes it sound like he was nauseous.
So Jimmy,
he's throwing upper knee.
Wait, so Jimmy had non-throwing hip surgery?
Yes, he did. No, non-throwing upper hip surgery.
Right.
Again, you should write it down. It can be very confusing.
Very confusing.
But symmetrical.
I mean, fantastic.
So what you do, he was eating W's with his upper toes. Back in the day. You know what? And I'm going to say it. And Rex Ryan loves his lower fingers. Loves it.
Lower
fingers.
hands.
The lower hands?
He loves lower hands.
Oh, I thought the fingers.
Well, he's more of a lower hand guy. He's more of a lower hand guy, I think.
Oh. Lower hands. And those were his upper toes, eating W's. Which, as we also know, upside down M's. Oh, this is a blast. Football's back.
Hey.
And Jameis Winston is teaching biology and symmetry. Just in time for kickoff.
Jameis is the comedic gift that keeps on giving.
Head, upper hips, lower elbows, and lower hands. Lower hands. Head. Upper hips. Lower elbows and lower hands. Lower fingers.
Yeah.
Right?
Eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, upper hips, lower elbows,
lower fingers.
Lower elbows, lower fingers.
The people don't have kids because me and TJ are looking at each other like, what do you got?
You don't know this song?
You don't know head, shoulders, knees, and toes?
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Nope.
Mike, you're an uncle, aren't you?
Come on. Eyes and ears and mouth and nose.
No, not a chance.
Oh, my God. What are you doing over there that you're not even in this thing? What are you doing?
TJ's like,
what are you doing? You're looking at your fantasy team you drafted in Ashton's barn the other night.
As I just put on the chat, I have no idea what's happening right now.
By the way, people think that guy's going to be a playoff quarterback?
You
no
damn
idea
well
what's
can be, and I cannot wait to a Super Bowl media day where he's teaching biology and then expanding out to chemistry. Do not underestimate that man. We're back with more in a moment.
Because it's high on my damn agenda. A Festivus for the rest of us.
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Del Dazzy.
Stay here. Stay as long as you can. For the love of God. Like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
Hold on while I look that up for you. Hold on while I look that up for you.
Stop Del Tufo.
this.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Come on.
Live from the Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Matt Ryan's ready. Tannehill's ready. Everybody in the AFC West is up and ready. Dak's ready. Jalen Hurts is ready. Carson Wentz, even he's ready. Matthew Stafford. Ooh, my arm.
The Rich Eisen Show. Earlier on the show, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney, former NFL general manager Thomas Dimitroff. Coming up, former Pro Bowl center Eric Wood. Plus your phone calls, latest news, and more. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
Yes, hour number 3 of the Rich Eisen Show is on the air. There's a certain energy with football being back, certainly here in Los Angeles, California. There's something up, you know, and we're feeling it. We're feeling it.
Have you seen the video of this apparently like giant 3D interactive Aaron Donald billboard?
No.
I think is down by LA Live.
Oh, is that right?
First off, Aaron Donald's scary, big monster.
Right.
He reaches out and grabs one of the Super Bowl rings.
I love it.
And it's like in oncoming traffic.
And the ring is as big as his head.
Pretty much, yeah.
Man,
I'll retweet a video of it right now. It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, kickoff tonight. And, you know, I want to tell this story. Sean McVay and Les Snead today, it was announced, I think these deals got done a while ago, if I had to guess. They just decided to, we'll hold it off. We'll announce
good timing on the announcement.
Well, I mean, you announce it the day of the banner raising,
of course.
Which is Les Snead and Sean McVay have been re-upped and extended all the way through the 2026 season. And there's a banner raising tonight here in Los Angeles, California. And it should not be lost about journeys. We always talk about, that's what we love about the NFL. It's a journey of a player, a journey of a team, or in this case, a general manager and a coach, and a franchise and an organization. I flew back on the team plane, I'll say it again, on the Thursday night that the Rams, with their interim head coach, John Fossil, went up to Seattle and got their asses kicked. And Jared Goff started. And this was when Todd Gurley was calling the Jeff Fisher offense a high school offense. Their best offensive player in Todd Gurley called out the team for running what he called a high school offense. And it was totally out of character for him to say anything like that publicly. And Jared Goff, their crown jewel, the first overall drafted quarterback, he got his ass kicked, destroyed by Seattle. And that flight back from Seattle to Los Angeles felt to me like it was 12 hours long. And it was like a funeral on the plane. And not a single soul in that, at least I didn't feel this way. I didn't think in a million years I was on the team plane of a franchise who was about to turn things around to make not one, but 2 Super Bowls in the next, 6 years. And not only that, but make a coaching hire that would be the envy of the rest of the league and also a blueprint of how you hire coaches and just don't even take a look at how young they are. That age is just a number. It doesn't matter how young they are at all. And that's what happened. Les Snead and Kevin Demoff, their team president, they decided to hire Sean McVay. And look at them now. They're raising a banner here in a beautiful new stadium that was the host of last year's Super Bowl, and the whole football world is going to be watching tonight. Unbelievable. Unbelievable how that all worked out for the team. Just kind of wanted to tell that story here and how things can turn around for your team. That's the beauty of the NFL, too. Worst to first. Yep. Worst to first is entirely possible. You can't, there's some teams that would be really shocking if it happens, and fan bases might feel down and out. You never know. It is truly the most you never know league there is. Really. And the Bills might have their opportunity starting tonight. Eric Wood is in town for that, former Buffalo Bill. He is here, and we'll be talking to him in studio in about 15 minutes' time. And then there are players who have an opportunity for the brass ring. Anybody starting in the NFL, playing in the NFL, has an opportunity to make the most of their career starting in week 1. You never know. Go out there and ball out. Suddenly you're not 3rd on the depth chart. You're 2 on the depth chart. And then you're 1 on the depth chart. And then suddenly it's your free agency walk year and you get paid a ton of money. And then maybe you got a ring or 2 on your finger. And then who knows? You keep building, you keep building, you keep building. And you got a bust in Canton. I'm serious. These things happen. And then you got opportunities that come around again when you don't think that they're possible anymore. Another reason why people love the NFL. And those are the stories that we're here for. Guys who get a chance again or making the most of an opportunity that might be their last. It's the brass ring. Who's going to grab it? I've got 5. Mike Del Tufo, I need NFL Films music. The 5 most brass ringy opportunities of the 2022 season. Is that I don't know if that's a phrase.
You made it one.
These are the 5 most golden opportunities to grab that brass ring. How about them apples?
That's better.
Better?
I like it better.
Kind of like brass ringy. Number 5 on the list is Marcus Mariota. Who'd have thought he'd have another shot at being a starting quarterback in this league? Maybe he did. Certainly when he was in Tennessee, drafted 2nd overall. Remember that? He had a perfect passer rating in his first game. It was him against Jameis Winston in his first career game. Perfect passer rating. He was the Titans quarterback of the future, former Heisman Trophy winner out of Oregon. And then Ryan Tannehill took that opportunity, grabbed that brass ring for himself, and then Mariota wound up as a backup in Vegas, a backup for the Raiders. And then an opportunity comes around with Atlanta trading Matt Ryan to Indianapolis and Arthur Smith, formerly of Tennessee, saying, come here. Come here. They draft a rookie, and Mariota could tell Desmond Ridder, not yet. Starting in week 1 against New Orleans. How about that? Mariota starting the season against Jameis Winston again.
Amazing. I love that.
You never know. That's what this league's about. And Winston's got a brass ring opportunity, but he's not in my top 5 because number 4 is a number 2 overall pick, getting another opportunity of his own. And that's Mitchell Trubisky. You could say this is a better opportunity than the one that Mariota has in Atlanta, with all due respect to the apparently banged up a little bit Drake London and number 1 tight end taken off the board, number 4 overall pick from a couple of years ago, Kyle Pitts in year number 2. Trubisky's got some great weapons at his disposal in Pittsburgh, and a coach who's behind him, and a defense that can play, and a coach that doesn't have losing seasons. Mitchell Trubisky's got another shot to start in this league, and it's for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who'd have thought he's the one that's going to start for the Steelers in the season after Big Ben says goodbye? Big Ben's not on the roster in Pittsburgh for the first time since 2003, and it's Mitchell Trubisky getting the start. That guy, who we all thought would never get another start again after the Bears let him go. Number 3 on this list is Baker freaking Mayfield.
Yep.
He has got a huge opportunity in Carolina, and the coach needs it to happen in the worst way. And he's got Christian McCaffrey, if he can stay healthy, and he's got DJ Moore. You've got a wide receiver and running back combination that is way up there on the list, if healthy. And Baker, if healthy, can lead this team. If he leads this team to the playoffs and beyond, what a brass ring opportunity this is. What if they win the division? What if he tells Tom Brady, not this year? Sorry, Tom, you got to come back for another. You could sit here and say that's not happening, Rich. Oh, really? Oh, really? Because this guy was rubbing the belly of a dog on a podcast in the middle of the summer, and we're all like thinking, where's he going to wind up? He wanted to go to Indianapolis, and I thought that would have been a nice spot for him to go there, too. Wasn't in the cards for him. Carolina goes and gets him, and he's the starting quarterback against the Browns in week 1. He said he didn't want to F him up, or he didn't say that to my colleague, Cynthia Freeland, but I bet you he really does. He feels it. That's his inner monologue. That's for damn sure. Number 2 brass ring opportunity is a guy that was right in the middle of the quarterback class, atop the draft board, who have gone on to amazing things. One guy made the Super Bowl last year, and the other guy has MVP talk all around him because he has been terrific. The minute a needle went into the wrong spot of Tyrod Taylor's ribcage a couple years ago. You got Justin Herbert there in L.A., here in L.A., and you got Joe Burrow there in Cincinnati, and Tua Tagovailoa having all sorts of question marks around him. All sorts of question marks around him. Why did the Dolphins take him? He doesn't have a body or a big enough game for the NFL. And now the Dolphins are, after kicking the tires on Deshaun Watson 50 ways to Sunday and having Tom Brady on a boat, apparently, tampering with him since 2019. And Tua is still the last man standing, and they got Tyreek Hill for him. And they got Jalen Waddle there, his former teammate from college. And they got a head coach who says he throws the most accurate ball he's ever seen. I mean, they are talking him up. They have put him in a terrific position to succeed. If he can grab that brass ring and show the ability that he showed when the whole country was stunned and jaw on the floor when he took the reins of Alabama in the middle of the national championship game a few years ago. If that Tua shows up in the NFL, what an amazing opportunity he has to grab that.
I don't know about you, but that looked like money.
That's the brass ring number 2. That's the second most golden opportunity in the NFL this year. And number 1, the most golden opportunity in the NFL. Nobody's talking about it. I don't think anybody's really talking about it. And it's amazing because this guy has the opportunity to do something we have not seen in this league in 20 years, in 2 decades. It's the longest such drought in the history of the Super Bowl era in the NFL, is going back to back as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The most golden opportunity, the brassiest of brass rings to grab in the NFL in 2022 is the one staring right at Matthew Stafford starting tonight. Matthew Stafford, Mr. Detroit Lion, first overall pick out of Georgia, who couldn't win a playoff game there despite having Calvin Johnson. And then he comes to Los Angeles, and everyone wonders, is he really good enough? Is he just living off that Georgia Bulldog fame from a decade and a half ago? People were literally thinking that at this point last year. And then he wins the Super Bowl. No-look passing things to Cooper Kupp, who had one of the greatest receiving seasons since Stafford had Calvin Johnson. Last 2 Triple Crown seasons at receiving. The quarterback, same guy. Can Matthew Stafford win it all again this year and become the first quarterback since Tom Brady in 03-04 to go back-to-back? And if he does it, you get yourself a bust in Canton, Ohio. Talk about a brass ring. Talk about a golden opportunity. I know there are others out there who need that opportunity to keep their jobs elsewhere in the NFL. Jared Goff, the guy who was traded for Stafford, I think is one of them. And I just named 4 other guys who really can make the most of their second opportunities that they didn't expect or have to cash in their first opportunity like Tua. But nobody, not even Tom Brady, has the chance that Stafford has this year to go back-to-back in the NFL as Super Bowl champion. And Brady's already in the bust room in Canton, Ohio. Stafford wins this year, put him there. And those are the 5 most golden opportunities of the 2022 season going in. Am I missing anything, gents? Anybody?
I like Stafford being number 1. That's nice. Because no one's really talking about him.
No, he could do it starting tonight.
He's one of the most criminally underrated quarterbacks.
I think people are talking about, like, well, Mahomes has got an opportunity, and Allen's got an opportunity, and Russ. What if Russ does what Peyton Manning obviously did last for Denver, but what Brady did was come to a new spot. And, you know, I'm talking up Derek Carr like crazy, and Herbert can win an MVP.
Lamar Jackson.
Kirk Cousins, Michael Irvin's MVP, you know.
Lamar's a good one. Lamar's a good one.
There's only one who can go back-to-back, and there's only one who could cement a place in Canton by doing so. That guy. Your starting quarterback for the banner-raising team tonight. Everybody on hold, stay on hold. We're going to have a conversation with Eric Wood, and then we will empty the phone banks before we let you go on the rest of your season opening Thursday in the NFL. Eric Wood, former Buffalo Bill offensive lineman, now an author. He will be joining us next in studio. Don't go anywhere. Back here on our YouTube stream as well as our Odyssey stream. Once again, we are going to move this show and this stream to the Roku channel exclusively coming on Monday. So to all the 457s in our chat room, we appreciate you hanging with us here the last couple of weeks. And please join us on our new digs at the Roku channel on Monday, September 12th. As soon as week one is mostly in the books, we will review the entire weekend's activities. College football, huge game, Alabama at Texas. The rest of the college football schedule on Saturday, and then Sunday, week one of the NFL. We'll chronicle all of it on Monday's show, getting you ready for the big Russell Wilson return to Seattle on Monday night. It's streaming for free on the Roku channel, which is available on all Roku devices, on all Amazon Fire TVs, on select Samsung TVs. Samsung Smart TVs have got the Roku channel on it, and we're free there. And then there's the Roku app, on which you can find the Roku channel. Guess what? It is free there. And then we've heard from so many people who have been kind enough to stream this show since we were on our YouTube before our 2 years on Peacock, streaming us on a desktop at work. You can still do that for free at the RokuChannel.com. We're seeing on our wormhole, and Adam, our call screener, has been getting a lot of people saying, what about Sirius? What about XM radio? We are going to be back on it next week. I cannot tell you what channels we are on yet because we haven't inked anything yet. We're going to do it. It's going to happen. It will happen. And that's just the way that we're going to be moving forward. So we're going to be a full complement of a Rich Eisen show on satellite radio, as well as the streaming world, as well as the world of Odyssey. We're going to be just all us chickens are still going to be here in the same studio. It's just going to be a different spot. And we're going to have a great time on the Roku channel. That's starting on Monday. Back here on our terrestrial radio outfit, along with everybody else. And that includes my next guest, who's sitting to my right. 9 seasons in the NFL. He was a first-round draft selection in 2009. Pro Bowler, starting center for the team. 2-time Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, and he's now an author. Here's a book right here called Tackle What's Next. Own Your Story, Stack Wins, and Achieve Your Goals in Business and Life. Eric Wood, who's calling the game on radio tonight for the Buffalo Bills fans to hear it, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being with you, brother.
You got it. I mean, we've spoken before, but first time we're meeting in person.
I know, this is fun.
It is indeed. Good fun. So the expectation level for this team is insane. It is through the roof. And all of my colleagues on NFL Network, we chose the Bills to win it. We had Mina Kimes of ESPN here yesterday. She chose the Bills to win it. We had Thomas Dimitroff, former GM of the Falcons, and so much more on the show last hour. I said, choose a roster you think that we'd be best equipped to win it. He chose the Bills. How is that landing with the actual Bills organization in the locker room and the players, Eric?
Well, I think I would look bad if I chose against them at this point then, if everyone else is. But, you know, the expectations have been high for a few years, and that's what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott have built.
Right.
Sean McDermott came in, Brandon Beane came in my last year with the Bills in 2017. They set the culture. They had to make some really tough decisions. They got rid of a bunch of guys in the building that had been there a while, and they've built it, starting with Josh Allen and a bunch of key pieces. And now it's amazing to me that Buffalo's now cool. Like, it's a cool spot to be and to play, and you're attracting guys like a Von Miller who comes in free agency, and that's where you're seeing this team in this roster. They've built, they got Pro Bowlers at every position group besides running back and tight end, and they just signed Dawson Knox, who leads the league in touchdown catches for tight ends last year. They just signed him to a contract extension.
But how are they handling it? Because, again, you got folks like my colleague across the way here and Chris Brockman that keeps talking about pressure, and I think it's going to roll off their back. But, you know, when January hits and games get tight, or games, in order to make January happen to the best of their ability, maybe as a 1 seed, which is the only spot that gets a bye in our new playoff world, when the pressure lands, how are they handling the level of expectation best you can tell being around the team, Aaron?
You know, I think internally it's business as usual, and these guys aren't necessarily focusing on the expectations. A lot of them are coming into the season with a bitter taste in their mouth at the way last season ended. With that final 13 seconds in Kansas City, they understand that 2 years in a row they get eliminated in Kansas City at Arrowhead. They want to host an AFC championship game in Buffalo this year, and they understand what that can do to help them get over that hump. So, you know, I think it's business as usual, and Sean McDermott, the way he leads on a day-to-day basis with his consistency, I think that'll keep the guys level-headed. But I know they're excited about tonight to be on this big stage, and I played in 2 primetime games, not excluding Thursday night. I played in 2 primetime games in 9 years when I was with the Bills. This year they have 5 primetime games alone before they get flexed. So the expectations are high, but I think internally they're handling it well.
So how does McDermott coach then? You just mentioned how he's consistent. Give me some examples of that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because he's not a yeller, he's not a screamer.
Right.
And so it's constant analysis every single day. He always preaches on a growth mindset. He was talking trust the process before Joel Embiid was. And so each and every single day, it's a consistent approach. But this is a guy who wakes up at 4-some in the morning every single day, whether they're at the facility or not. He gets his workout in, and his consistency that he brings on a day-to-day basis, it rubs off on everyone else in the organization.
Eric Wood here on the Rich Eisen Show. It's amazing that the defending Super Bowl champs, who got better, by the way, who did not lose their head coach or general manager. Usually that might happen, or they did lose their offensive coordinator, obviously, but they've lost their offensive coordinator before and replaced him with somebody who became a head coach again, you know.
Right.
Right. Zach Taylor goes out. In comes Kevin O'Connell. Now he's out. They got better. They got Bobby Wagner. They got Allen Robinson. We're talking about the Bills, and rightfully so because of how stacked they are. Right. But I mean, what a game tonight is. What is the challenge? Break it down for me. By the way, you're doing the first breakdown of a game, right? We haven't done that in 7 months. Last people we broke down was Super Bowl 56 was the conversation. Yeah. So let's this is great. Let's talk about the game.
All right, let's break it down. Yeah, so 2 super talented rosters, and you mentioned they returned so many key pieces off of that Super Bowl team last year. The only guy they really lose on either side of the ball would be on the lines, Von Miller, and then Andrew Whitworth, their starting left tackle last year. He goes into retirement. You'll see him on TV now. And that's going to be an interesting matchup with Von Miller and Noboom on the outside. Can he withstand 4 quarters of a guy who's coming in to his former team, and he's going to want to make a splash in this game? Von Miller's going to want to make a splash. And then you have maybe the best defensive player, maybe the best player in the NFL on the Rams defensive line, and Aaron Donald, who wants to show up in prime time here in this game as well. We always say those D linemen try a little bit harder in primetime games. So that's going to be an interesting matchup along the lines. Starting cornerback Tre'Davious White is out for the Bills, all-pro corner. He's going to be on the PUP list to start the year. He'll miss at least the first 4 weeks. And so when you look at a receiving core with Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp, who primarily plays in the slot, and so that'll be an interesting matchup with Taron Johnson. But when I look at it, this Bills pass rush is what held them back last year. And I say held them back. They're the number 1 defense statistically in the NFL. But against playoff teams last year in the regular season, only 5 sacks against playoff teams. So of their 41 sacks on the year, 5 were against playoff teams. So they brought in a Von Miller, a Daquan Jones, a Tim Settle. They draft Greg Rousseau in the first round last year to get a consistent pass rush against good quarterbacks. And I think that's what can help out these 2 rookie cornerbacks in Kyer Elam and Christian Benford that'll be starting for the Bills tonight.
Eric Wood breaking stuff down, former Buffalo Bill, now part of the Bills broadcast team, and now an author, and so much more going on in your life we'll get to in a second right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tom Brady spoke today, and we're going to play a soundbite for that before we get out of Dodge on our Thursday program. Send you to SoFi, Eric. But he's got some interior offensive line issues in front of him, you know. How significant do you think that is?
It can be significant because if you look back at the times in Tom Brady's career that he struggled, it's that interior pressure. Think back to the Eagles Super Bowl loss with Fletcher Cox coming right up the middle. He's great at stepping up in the pocket, but he's not super mobile to escape the pocket on the outside. So when it collapses from the inside, that could be an issue. And although Tom Brady's in his mid-40s, he throws the deep ball as well as anybody in the NFL, but that only happens with time. And so I think this year you're going to have to establish a run game. A lot of that's going to have to come off of play action because those guys on the interior, you know, you lose one of the best centers in the game in Ryan Jensen.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
Well, I mean, and he can get rid of the football fast, and he's got the weapons around him, but he's also a 45-year-old guy, right? And it's just I've laid my marker on the Bucs to win the NFC, and I've laid my marker on the Raiders to win the AFC West. And every single time I say that to somebody else in my world or the industry, I'm hearing their lines aren't going to be good enough to hold up. You know?
And that makes a big difference. And, you know, especially with Tom Brady, because he's so good you can't blitz him.
Right.
You know, if you blitz Tom Brady consistently, he's going to burn you. We had Rex Ryan with the Bills for 2 years playing against Tom Brady, and you'll get him at times with the blitz, but he's going to find the gaps and he'll make you pay. So you can't blitz him. You've got to pressure him with a 4-man pass rush. Right. And a lot of that's got to be on the interior because, like I said, he can step up so well. As far as the Raiders' offensive line, they lose my boy Richie Incognito. He's off into retirement now. Mm-hmm. With their offensive line, if they can hold up, they have so many weapons on the outside.
That's right.
And then,
I mean, like, good luck if Devontae Adams is active against you,
right?
And then Waller is active against you, and if you got to focus, you got to focus on one of those two guys, right? You've got to shade to at least one of those two guys, and then Renfro,
right?
Renfro doing his, tornado type maneuvers. That's why I dig him a lot. And Max Crosby with Chandler Jones. That's why I'm on them. But everybody keeps saying their line stinks. Literally, those are the words that come back at me from talent evaluators and general managers or anybody else who I've been talking to.
Yeah, and that division's just so stacked that who knows who's even going to come out of that division. Mm-hmm. And so when you're looking at Super Bowl chances, MVP chances, that division's going to beat each other up. I had Nate Hackett, who was with me in Buffalo, the head coach of the Broncos. I had him on my podcast.
Yes.
And I said, you getting any sleep preparing for all these pass rushers? And he's like, no, it's no joke. I take this job, and everybody in the division goes out and gets him a high-priced, free agent, fun guy to go rush the passer as well. But that's what happens when you load up on quarterbacks and playmakers. The easiest way to combat that isn't necessarily go out and find the next Jalen Ramsey or Tre'Davious White. A lot of the best way to do it is to go find pass rushers.
Eric Wood here on the Rich Eisen show. So you had, as you called him, Nate Hackett on the Eric Wood.
Am I supposed to call him Nathaniel?
No. But it just shows you, well, I mean, so many people call Brady Tommy, and it's just like,
right.
okay, you've been around him.
Well,
so
me and Nate were neighbors in 2009. When I got to the Bills, he was quality control with the Bills, and we were neighbors. So to me, he'll always be Nate.
And what an opportunity he's got in front of him. I mean, this is a major moment for his first head coaching opportunity, and Russell Wilson is acquired for his first opportunity. There's new owners there,
right.
the Walton family, who just found another $1 billion under their couch cushion while they were chilling out with Commissioner Goodell. So you put it all together, and he's got an incredible opportunity in front of him. What is his what's his readiness level in your estimation for this, Eric Wood?
Yeah, I think it's excellent. And when you look, he's learned under LaFleur. He's been under Doug Marrone. He's been around. His dad was a coach in the NFL. He grew up in the coaching industry.
Well, his dad was the coach that was before Pete Carroll at USC.
Right.
I mean, there's so many different levels that Paul Hackett was around. So obviously he's got the pedigree. But what about the moment that's arriving? Game management, AFC West. Opportunity is remarkable for him. So
he's got so much experience in this league. You never know with a first-time head coach. You never know exactly how that's going to go.
Right.
And with him calling plays and being so in tune to the offense as well, he's going to have a lot on his plate. It helps that you got a veteran quarterback and a guy you trust on the field in Russell Wilson. And then he surrounded himself with an excellent staff. And from everyone I've talked to in that building, they love the energy that Nate has brought into the building, and nothing against the old staff. It's just not the same upbeat energy that you get from Nate Hackett, where the guys get excited to come to work each day. I mean, you're talking about a guy who taught hip-hop dance classes. I mean,
okay,
Nate's fun.
Say what? Hold on. What? I didn't know that. What? Keep going. What do you mean?
So Nate was what was he? He's like a nuclear. He's like almost like he's like a mad scientist.
Okay.
Super intelligent guy. And then he got into teaching hip hop dance classes prior to coaching in college.
Huh. So he can move, is what you're saying?
He can move. And, you'll only catch that at maybe like the rookie show. You might talk him into it. He's not standing up in front of team meetings each and every day, busting out dance moves, but he's got some rhythm.
I mean, we've seen NFL films, moments captured in locker rooms, celebratory locker rooms. Andy Reid dabbing like it looked like he pulled his back muscle. And
Mac Brown.
Yeah, yes, or even in college basketball, right, with Roy Williams, sneaking into the locker room. But so you're saying Nathaniel, because I don't really know him, Hackett has a hip hop dancing background that we may actually see on display of some sort?
He does, and for a second I was thinking maybe I blew his cover, but then I remembered he talked about this on my podcast I did with him. So
Eric, it's okay, man.
Yeah. So no, he's got some rhythm, and hopefully this gets out there bigger now so that he can show those moves on the sideline. Maybe they get a little locker room dance video of him.
Ride. Do we have a whole new meeting of Let's Ride?
Rich, I did
yes, sir.
see an interview with him where he asked Sierra, Russell Wilson's wife, about being in a video.
Whoa.
So
Nathaniel,
he does.
Hackett.
What Eric's saying is correct. He's got the moves like Jagger, and he did talk to Sierra about possibly being in the video, so we might get that collab.
How can he not wind up in it?
Yeah, did that influence the decision to bring in Russell Wilson?
Could have sealed the deal.
I think he said he was more.
Russ is like, I don't know. Do I want to go to Denver? Do I not? Well, you know what? I taught hip hop dance classes in college. Sold. Let's ride. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
And this is how we go. Okay, very good. Eric Wood here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about your book, sir. Tackle What's Next. Own your story, stack wins, achieve your goals in business and life. There's the book right here, forward by Sean McDermott. Very nice. So what do you want people to know about this book and what they can glean from this?
Yeah, so this book is on transition. So little backstory. 2017, I signed a contract extension before the season with the Bills. I'm the only player on the team to play every single snap that year, and my career ends at the end of the year. They find, after our playoff game, trying to get cleared for the Pro Bowl, find a career-ending neck injury, disc and bone sitting in my spinal cord, and no matter what, I can't come back and play football. And so that set me on a transition out of football that so many over these last couple of years because of COVID, and whether it's career, relationships, whatever it may be, we're always in this constant period of transition. I started a podcast called What's Next with Eric Wood, got a bunch of coaching, learned from mentors, and compiled it all into this book that I think can serve people in a way in their life to whether you had this catastrophic event or you simply just want to make your tomorrow better than your today. There's a lot of great lessons from very influential people on my life in that book, and it's fun football stories from coaching moments playing for Sean McDermott and Rex Ryan to Bobby Petrino in college, and then podcast guests that have ran across the board that have just made a huge impact on my life.
So one day you're thinking you got your whole career ahead of you, you signed your contract, you haven't missed a game, and then somebody's like, you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
What was that day like for you?
It was wild. So I had driven back to Louisville. My wife was pregnant with my son, Garrett, who's now 4. And so she had driven back to Louisville already. She was back in town. She was going to deliver in Louisville. And I can't blame her because it was a January due date. And to that point, we were playing in the longest playoff drought in all of pro sports. So she did not assume that we would make the playoffs that year. So she scheduled it for a delivery in Louisville. So I drove back, and 50 minutes before my son was born, I get the call that my career is over. So a whirlwind of a day. Nurse comes in, and my wife's upset. She's crying a little bit, and nurse comes in and said, "Honey, it's not going to hurt that bad." And Leslie said, "It's not about the baby," So we had one of those fun moments. We laugh now, but we weren't laughing as hard at the time. But I just had so many people pour into me through this transition, getting into broadcast, some different business opportunities, that this book is a way for me to honor many of those individuals.
And what'd you learn?
So much. So much.
Because there's so many people, it'd just be, it'd be difficult to transition or find the strength to transition. I mean, and find the ability to dig in. Certainly if you only know one thing, which, one assumes with football players, you're great at football and then maybe not so great, or think you can be as great at other things.
Right.
And we talk about transitioning so much. I mean, next week we've got Nate Boyer here, and that's what his MVP is all about, is transitioning, and with Glazer transitioning out of either the military into your next life or out of sports to your next gig. And I'm fascinated by the subject.
Yeah. So the thing I talk about often is finding success in all buckets of life. So that's finance and career, that's spiritual, emotional, relational, physical. And when you can successfully fill those buckets, you're going to feel more fulfillment in your life. You're going to set yourself up to be more successful in that transition. You're going to prepare yourself for that. And that looks like so many different things. But when you come from a life in pro sports or military or a business where you've worked the same job for so long, you have a built-in routine that now you have to recreate. And I think that's where you see a lot of pro athletes, former military, they get caught in this rut because for the first time in their life, they don't wake up with a clear purpose in the morning. And they don't have their values stated on the wall like they had in the Buffalo Bills facility every day when we walked in. And so being able to create some core values in your life, get into a routine, stack wins is what I call it, but get some habits each and every day that can benefit you in all buckets of life, and you will start to find fulfilling opportunities come your way.
Well, you're not just stacking wins, you're stacking seasoning, it appears right here. We've got 5 bottles of seasoning right here. What is Dano's seasoning?
So Dano's seasoning is a company that I partnered up with, and Dan Oliver created this seasoning. It's low sodium, no sugar, gluten-free, 0 calorie. And for me, I had to go from 310 pounds and lose some weight. That was going to be the best thing for my neck. And then moving forward, it's not healthy for me to carry a bunch of extra weight. So throughout that transition, try to get on a much healthier eating journey. Dano seasoning allows you to bring a ton of flavor to food, some healthy foods that'll nourish your body, give you that energy, but not add a bunch of calories and crap in the meantime.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at some of these bottles here. Everything Bagel, which I used to be. I used to be Everything Bagel right here.
No, you know everything anymore?
No bagel.
Oh, no bagel.
Trying to stay away,
Put that on your eggs.
I'm 53 with that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm 53 without an ish going on,
I feel you.
And then Hot Chipotle, which was my nickname in high school.
It's perfect.
That's a lie. I'm sorry, it's not.
We got a new brand ambassador.
Hi, my name is Rich Hot Chipotle Eisen. How's that sound? Sounds good?
Perfect.
Okay, very good. Everybody, so Dano's, you can get them where all seasoning is acquired? Is that where you can go?
Yeah, so national retail now, Amazon, through the website. But Dan has an awesome story. You know, he created the company himself.
He's big on TikTok, huh?
Huge on TikTok.
2.5 million followers about seasoning on TikTok? Ooh, the hell. Well done, Dano.
Give him a follow.
All right. Well, TJ, you can't give him a follow because you're not really on TikTok. Our social media guys are anti-TikTok over there. I don't know. My 14-year-old son's like, get your TikTok game.
He's
going.
more LinkedIn than TikTok.
Are you more LinkedIn? You're not even LinkedIn. You're not LinkedIn either, right?
I mean,
you're not LinkedIn.
Like Eric, he said it himself. His 14-year-old son in TikTok. Obviously, I'm not 14, so therefore I don't have a handle.
It's working for Dano and all his seasoning, man. I don't mean to involve you in my problems.
No, you're all good.
Hey, have a great time tonight at the game. Let's talk throughout the season. I have a feeling the Bills are going to be relevant, Eric. You know, I mean, I've got that sense. That spidey sense is going off that they're going to be relevant. At ewood70 on Twitter and Instagram. The new book, Tackle What's Next, Own Your Story, Stack Wins, and Achieve Your Goals in Business and Life. Available starting October 11th, where all books are sold, but you can pre-order it right now. Check out What's Next with Eric Wood podcast, and then, of course, the Dano seasoning. You got a lot going on your plate. Thanks for taking time out here today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That's Eric Wood right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tom Brady, what does he have to say about the possibility of this being his last year? Is asked that directly, and then we'll take your phone calls and get you set for tonight.
Dak, quick question for you. As I run my 40-yard dash, I need to access my hips. Do you know any particular warm-up that might be able to open up a hip or access a hip? Would you know of any of them?
I think I know of one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I attempted it weeks ago. I'd love for you to critique what you're seeing right here on the screen. What do you think?
Not bad. I mean, I need a little bit more rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah, that throw right there, I don't know where your body was, but I think if
gets
you
better.
hold the front shoulder a little bit,
Okay.
keep doing what you're doing with the lower body, and I think we've got something.
Yeah,
You're not too far off.
No, I'm not too far
Nah,
off. It took me a little while to get into it.
Yeah, I think that looks better than the 40.
Well, let me ask you this. If I master that, won't it help me in the 40-yard dash?
I mean,
Won't
I
it?
think so. You master that, it'll help you in everything. It's your hips. It's getting those hips activated, and yeah.
So it's the back hip that goes.
It's bringing the back hip through while holding the front shoulder, creating that torque.
All right. So when I crush it with the sub 5'9", I'll owe it to Dak Prescott. Don't go anywhere. Back with more in a moment. Look at that form.
It's really not that bad.
Thanks, Dak.
On our YouTube page, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show, everybody. YouTube.com/Rich Eisen Show. We're still here on our live feed. What are you looking at out there? Somebody out there?
Guy's got the, it's not even a weed whacker. He's got like the giant kind of like hedge clipper edger thing going on.
Just going.
It was really loud.
I don't understand it.
They have to.
Oh, he stopped.
Yeah.
It was loud. It was pretty loud, though.
I mean,
it was. I think it was huge too.
Yeah, it was like one of those sharks.
There's more gardening going on here than Madison Square.
But there's no people.
Not many.
Like, what are we
I don't know.
for?
Got to look nice. Got to keep
For
up.
who?
Us.
Okay.
You can listen to the NFL and the NFL app on the Odyssey app or WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, sponsored by AutoZone. And it's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Chris Godwin says that he is going to be a likely game time decision Sunday night.
Saw that.
Oh, yes, the fantasy conundrums
Already
arrive
starting,
in
baby.
week one.
Already starting.
Chris Godwin, everyone's like, Chris Godwin, he's out there, no knees brace, he's out there, this, that, the other thing. Oh, he might be out there. And then all of a sudden it's time to start playing football, and he puts on the Don't Touch Me jersey, and he's a likely game time decision Sunday night. You're going to start him? And then, of course, there's the whole concept of what's it called? Oh, yeah, actual football. That Tom Brady will not have Chris Godwin at his disposal.
Right.
That could be what we call significant going against a Cowboys defense that going into the season appears to be the strength of that organization.
Julio time, baby.
And Julio stepping in on Sunday night. Here we go.
Julio anytime TD. Let's go, Mike.
There we go. Oh, God. You're already talking about the non-game aspects of the gaming aspects?
like Gabe Davis plus 120.
Calling gambling the non-gaming aspects of the gaming aspects is kind of like calling your knees your lower elbows. And then there's Thomas Brady himself. He met with the media today. Here's what Tom had to say, because he's going to be asked this question. Maybe this is the last time he's asked this question. Because what are you going to ask him in the middle of week 3, week 4, week 5? But
what if they're struggling?
Yeah.
You don't think you have the temerity to say, "Hey, you're struggling. Is this your last year?" I think this is you get your last licks in right now. Is this your last year? Now, broadcasters who get to see Brady for the first time all season, they're doing a national broadcast, might get that crack in there week 7, week 8. How you feeling, Tom?
In the meeting, you mean?
Yeah, in the meeting before the game. They might get their crack at saying, "Hey, Tom, off camera, how you feeling? You thinking this is your last year?" And then right around the third quarter of a blowout, like, well, he spoke to Brady, and this is what he had to say.
Maybe.
Like, that's maybe where you get your licks in, but this is kind of like last licks.
Yeah.
Asking Brady prior to the season, is this your last season? What's he thinking?
I think we're all getting one day older at a time. So, we're all not sure whether we're going to be here next year or not. This is a reality for every player, every coach, every parent. You just never know. So we should all take advantage of the opportunity that we have, which is the one we have in front of us now.
The very nice Tom Brady version of the Kyle Shanahan. We could all be dead by Sunday.
But still.
Brady looks kind of thin, huh?
Yeah, he looks thin.
Dude, he's...
A lot of stress.
I don't think so. You know what it looks like to me?
Looks thin.
He looks like a 45-year-old guy in the best shape of any 45-year-old guy in the history of 45-year-old guys.
Maybe, but you know,
still.
There's a lot going on in your life. You know, you're not eating.
What are you not eating?
You're not sleeping.
Dude, I have a
Only
feeling.
one avocado a day.
Come on, guys. This guy's got a plan. He's got a regimen. He
Two
follows it every
smoothies,
single
not
day.
three.
Yeah.
Just think about. Could you imagine
being Tom Brady?
Yeah. Well, but just imagine. No, just imagine the discipline it takes. Last night I was having dinner last night. I'm so stuffed. You know, I had my workout yesterday. I had my workout. No, just let me. Tom and I are both Michigan men with a lot of ish going on. So let me just compare myself. Let me just go for it. So let me just go for it. So yesterday I do my Pilates. Shut up.
No.
You try it.
No, I've done it.
Okay.
It's hard.
I'm doing my Pilates.
Hard.
I was talking to you. I had acupuncture for my neck because I got a lot of ish going on. You know, so I'm going through all that. And I'm thinking to myself, it was such a tough workout. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, tonight I'm going to go to dinner. I'm going to dinner. I'm going to get a burger. I haven't had one in a while. I'm going to go for it. So I splurged, and I went for the burger. Eat
the whole bun?
Of course I did. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You know what I did? You know what I did? Is about halfway through the eating of the bun because it was one of those
big brioche buns.
Brioche. It's a brioche bad boy. A brioche bad boy.
Baby.
Okay. And so I'm having the brioche, and halfway through, because they cut it in half like it was 8.
Oh.
I don't know if that's how they served it. And so I had the first with the brioche and everything, and then, second one, I'm like, maybe I should. So I started eating it with a fork a little bit, and then I started dipping the brioche into the ketchup just by itself, hoping that Susie wouldn't notice. So anyway, long story short, is I do all that, and then dessert comes to the table for just like as a chef wanted to do this sort of thing.
Cake
helps to have Al Michaels across the table from you. But so long story short, there was cake, cookies, and ice cream that came.
Jeez, all three.
And I'm thinking to myself, I've already splurged. I can't do that. Of course I went in. Tom Brady.
Start, bench, cut. Cookies, cake, ice cream.
Start, cookies, bench, cake, and cut the ice cream.
Wow. Cut ice cream?
It was fancy. It was fancy. It wasn't like...
Okay.
I'm just saying this. Imagine you're Tom Brady. You can't have any of those moments ever. The workout is followed by what? Okay, water, avocados, this, that, the other thing. What, you think he's not around that other stuff? He's around kids. What do you think? His kids only eat that stuff? You think none of that? Hold on a minute. You think there's nothing in a pantry, in the Brady pantry? You think there's nothing in the Brady pantry?
I don't think there's. I don't
nothing.
Think they don't.
Come on, he's got children.
I don't think there's Coca-Cola and Captain Crunch. You know what I mean?
I know that, but there might be something that's definitely off the reservation.
I don't know.
I can't imagine having that discipline. Damn near 350 of the 365 days. He might, do you have a cheat week? Cheat week?
Cheat hour. Gets a taco.
Cheat hour. I don't know, man.
I mean, even The Rock has a cheat day. So.
What The Rock is?
Yeah. Aaron Donald and him together.
With all due respect to The Rock, here I go. With all due respect to The Rock doesn't have to face the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night at age 45.
Good point.
He's got, I'm sure what he does is incredibly physically demanding, what have you.
But
he's not
50.
Putting,
look at him.
He's not putting dude, I've seen him recently. With my own two eyes. Donald. But
exactly.
but he's not trying to avoid Micah Parsons Sunday night, is he? For the whole country watching?
That's a good point.
So let's just wrap up the show with this. What time is it in Japan, Chris?
Oh, great question. Well, it's probably...
Because last time Zach from Japan called in,
4 a.m.
we hopped on the phone line, and he was snoring.
I mean...
He was out. Like, we've never in our 8-year history of the show said, hey, you're on the air, and we heard somebody snoring.
It's 7 minutes to 4 a.m.
Oh, my God. And this guy, poor bastard's been hanging on for 2 hours. Zach in Japan, are you awake?
Yep, I'm still here.
Zach! Yeah! Were you cutting Z's yesterday when we took your... Were you cutting Z's?
Yeah, I can't lie, Rich. I'm 33 and I've got a lot of ish going on.
My man.
Yesterday was a long day, and I didn't anticipate being on hold for that long. So.
God bless you. You've been on hold for this whole show. I've got about 60 seconds. You've got the floor. What's on your mind, Zach, in Japan, now that you're awake? You got it.
I just want to tell you and your team, I think you need to put some respect on my Titans name.
Okay.
#1 seed, Coach of the Year, the Diminisher, Austin Hooper, Traylon Burks, and nobody's mentioning us. So I'm not feeling that.
Zach, are you saying don't sleep on the Titans? Is that literally what somebody who was caught snoring on hold is telling us right now? Do not sleep on a team. Is that in your team? Is that what you're telling me?
News on my team.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying.
Zach, are you from Tennessee?
I went to school in Tennessee. I went to Vanderbilt. I'm from Virginia, though.
Okay. Zach in Japan. You can't spell Zach
Domo
without a Z.
arigato.
Well
Without
done.
a Z.
Thanks, brother.
Well done.
God bless.
Great return engagement. What a story. We just told a whole narrative from one show to the next, huh? You can go from dead-ass sleeping to wide awake and making a point on the Rich Eisen Show. I think that's the inspiration for everybody entering the NFL season. He just went from worst to first.
He did.
Zach in Japan is an allegory for the NFL season that begins tonight.
Let's go.
Thanks for taking in this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. When we next chat, we're breaking down the results of an actual football game. We're back on YouTube in a sec. Guys, just understand you can go off into the NFL season with a clear mind. Harry Styles did not spit on Chris Pine.
Thank
okay?
God. Thank God.
Everyone understand?
Got it.
So watch tonight's game with a clear mind.
Have you seen the Tom Cruise plane video yet, though?
I have. That's it's
nuts.
That's the greatest flying talk I've ever seen. I've done the walk and talk. I will never do the fly and talk.
We're the king of the walk and talk Thursday Night Football. I mean, that was
Thank
the
you,
best.
sir.
That was the best.
That's when I was doing it when, bless his soul, Stewart was alive, and I was doing it just.
I know that.
He was doing his walks and talks on Monday Night Football. I was doing it on Thursday night. I'm like, I need to walk and I'm talking. And I'm even saying I'm walking and I'm talking and tuning in at halftime.
I used to crack up.
Oh, yeah. Take that, Stu. That's why I was sitting there. Okay, you want to walk and talk on Monday night? I'll walk and talk on Thursday. All right, I'm the first guy to walk and talk all week. You're the bookend. I even told him that once. I'm like, you're the last to walk and talk. I'm the first. Okay.
I'm psyched for tonight, man.
You should be.
Really
It's going to be awesome.
Who's winning? Who's winning? Who's winning? Go.
Even though I left her.
Go. Who's winning?
Rams.
Go.
Rams.
TJ, who's winning?
Cowboys.
Who's winning tonight?
Oh, tonight. Oh, Bills.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on
guys are
that.
taking we're split.
You know, you got all that. You got your trophy presentation and your banner and all the hoopla. The Bills are
And
just
then
coming in
Josh
with one
Allen
thing.
is going to come in and
They're
take
coming
your
in to
soul.
smash.
We'll talk about it Friday. Peyton Manning's on the show.